heated up starting the day before, so it was like bathwater. Because especially if it's February and you want people to put on bathing suits and get in the water, you better make it.
You don't want your assets to be frozen, do you?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to have your actors chattering.
And an iceberg to come out.
So of the two experiences, Vicky, Blade Runner and the Love Boat, which was the most dystopian vision?
I'm going to have to say Blade Runner.
I just wondered.
I said this before, and I will keep saying it. One night we're shooting at the Ennis Brown house, which is the Frank Lloyd Wright house in the Hollywood Hills. And we're shooting Deckard's car driving up into the little parking lot. So he's going to get out and go into his apartment. So we're on the street, and of course it looks too nice. So Ridley says, we need to shit this up. This is what he said every night. So they're putting vermiculite on the ground because it's easier to clean up in the morning. Unfortunately, vermiculite is extremely slippery. So the house is on.
That's the same stuff from diapers, right?
No, it's for potting soil.
Okay.
It's potting soil.
Okay.
So we put it out, and now we've just made a oil slick for us. So we're trying to bring equipment, and you're trying to bring this, and we have to have the rain, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh God.
And we turn to each other. This is going to be not today.
Nope, lost Vicky a little bit there.
Oh
yeah, we lost her.
Fine.
There, you're back. You're back. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after all that, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. We can't walk. We're dead tired at the end of the week. He said, one day this will be day. Nope.
We lost you again, Vicky. I don't know if you can hear me. You might want to just switch off your camera if you're having connection issues.
Okay. Stop cam? I don't know.
Yeah, just click on stop cam, Vicky. Just see if that helps.
Stop cam, and
there you
go. It'll sometimes help for connection.
Okay, that work?
And I believe this is StreamYard because this is like happening to everybody. Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to point out. I'm just going to tell people what you've worked on. As a trainee, you also worked on another film I liked with Deborah Winger called Mike's Murder, which I actually liked that film. Then you got to work on the other Blade Runner film called Streets of Fire, which has an amazing soundtrack. Then you worked on Love Boat. You also worked on another show I never watched, Scarecrow and Mrs. King, although my wife at the time loved that show. Then you worked on a Spielberg film. It's a little one called Color Purple.
Yeah.
And,
a little side project.
Then you worked on another film I love, Quicksilver, with Kevin Bacon, Blue City, and a movie I've never seen because I think it was a little just too dark for his extremities with Phil Foster.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that.
And I'm going to have you back again because we will be doing a show on Dragnet too, because I love that movie. I love that movie. But before you did Dragnet, you worked on Three Amigos. And of course, on that one, again, you're second assistant director. I've got to ask, because the audience doesn't know. First of all, they don't understand what an assistant director. They actually think the assistant director is sitting there doing directorial stuff. And I'm like, no, they're more of a business manager on the set. They're, you have, because like I've always described the the assistant directorship the same on set as what a production manager is upstairs, and they kind of do similar jobs. As I recall, that's what. But what is a second assistant director's job?
So, just to be, hopefully you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay.
We hear you fine.
Okay. So it's more when I think of the director and the first assistant and the second assistant, I think of Star Trek Next Generation, and Picard is the director, and Riker is the first assistant director, and then maybe Data is the second assistant director. So the two main jobs of a first assistant, because I have to say what the first does after, is we come in and you break down the script into the shooting schedule. You do not shoot in order. You can shoot some things in order, but sometimes you have to shoot the exteriors first, because if you wait later and you have an exterior and it's raining, you're screwed. So we have to break down. So it's kind of like breaking down to putting a puzzle together, but you don't know what the puzzle is. There's no lid to it. So whatever little tiny pieces have to be in there, they all have to, it all has to fit. You have to have all the pieces. So the first assistant, that's one of their most important jobs. And the second is to run the set. So the first assistant is the one who says, let's go to work. The first assistant is the one that says it's a wrap. Let's go to lunch. This is what we're doing. We've changed the order, da, 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 da. So the first assistant is always next to camera so that they can facilitate anything that the crew needs. If somebody accidentally backs into a wall, then we need the standby painter to come so that they can fix that. So if you weren't there, you wouldn't know that that was needed until we're ready to shoot. So because the first assistant is basically chained to the camera, they cannot then go and facilitate those things that need to have done. So you have a second assistant. So what the second assistant does, most importantly, is they take the schedule that the first assistant made and breaks it down into the minutia of, we need this many people, we need this equipment, we need to be at this location, and then we're going to pack up and go to this location. All of that is going on what is called a call sheet. So every single person that's working that day will have their name on the call sheet. What time will they arrive? What time what the work is for that day, the extras, the equipment, whatever it is that we need. And then at the end of the night, there's a thing called a production report. And the production report is, this is what really happened. The call sheet is what we wanted to happen. The production report is what really happened. And so it says, this is how much film we put, this is how much sound we had, this is when the actors worked, and all of that goes to accounting so that they can pay everybody where they're paying. So but on the set, when I was there, I blocked the background. So have 2 lines. 5.
Oh, hold on, Vicki. We're losing you again. We're losing you again. See if you can stop your camera and see if that'll help any. I hate it when that happens to us. It's just one of those sucky things of doing these shows. Is that helping you?
I know they're
Can
not.
you hear?
If you leave your camera off, just talk, Vicki, and maybe we'll see if that helps.
Yeah. Just leave it off.
Just leave it off. Yeah. Till you're.
So the second assistant, when I was seconding, the thing that I would do that you would see, because obviously you're not going to see my paperwork, that will block the background. So you have the director directing the actor who have lines, and then you can have like 10, 15,000, 10,000 people who have to be in this area and scene and make it look as real as possible. And so, especially on AMIGOS, we had kids, we had old people, we had young people who didn't speak Spanish. I mean, I don't really speak Spanish. But, some of so we had sometimes to translate what I wanted them to do, but after a while, they kind of all figured it out. And so that's the job of the second. Then there is a second, if its job is big enough, like you have a really big cast or you have really big crew, you may have 3 second ADs. So in England, they go to third AD, but we don't go to third AD in America. We just go to second, third second, assist. Well, we wouldn't say that. So that's what my job is.
Wow.
So basically, my job is as the second, not particularly on this film. I was more there for background. Would be to do the call sheet, to tell everybody where they are, what they're doing, and then at the end of the night, do the production report. Okay, this is what happened. This is what we did. And then help facilitate moving people in and out. We were at Culver Studios. We were in Beverly Hills. We were in Tucson, Arizona, and in Simi Valley. So we were shooting for 4 months.
Yeah. Now you're probably staying Tucson, but old Tucson is in between Phoenix and Tucson. And it is the old West town that was built for classic Western town used by John Ford for all those classic John Wayne movies, El Dorado, all of it. They'd shoot from different angles and you'd swear you were on a whole different location. And it was used for Tombstone, for parts of it. And in fact, because we were talking before the show, that Mexican chapel that you see prominently displayed in this show was the same Mexican chapel used in Tombstone, because it is, or I mean, in the movie Tombstone, because it was actually shot at the old Tucson shooting range.
Right.
And you can always spot Arizona by the giant saguaro cactus.
Yes.
Because I'm from Phoenix originally, and we're so proud of those damn cactus.
Yeah. So they have it's like a entertainment part. You can go out there and walk.
Yeah, when they're not making films, it's like a little Disneyland.
It's like a little Disneyland. They have a stunt show. They'll show you different things. And so we used the church where they watch the movie at the beginning of the movie. And then we used another for the Western Telegram office. Then the bar, the exterior of the bar was one place. We had a stagecoach with a 6-up, which means 6 horses in front. That was so big, we couldn't turn it around.
Wow.
So we would go to the end of the street, and then you have to pick it up and turn it so that it could go the other direction. And then when it went that direction, there was enough room for it to turn around, but the one direction it wouldn't go. And on a 6-up, horses are used to their place. So they're either I'm on the right in the middle, or I'm on the left in the back. And so when if you realize that the horse is getting tired, you have to get another horse that fits that section.
Right.
So 2-up would be 2, 4-up, 6-up. So like Wells Fargo is 8-up.
That's
And-
funny. Ate up. Because in the military, that means that you suck if you're all ate up. I don't know if you. In the military, you would see somebody do this with 4 fingers out. They go like that, and then walk away, and that meant you're all ate up. You're all ate up.
You're all ate
so,
up. Yeah.
We've got quite a panel right now, but on top of that, we have an amazing chat, and we've got some messages from them. And I need to first of all greet everybody in the chat. Of course, Tom Connors from Midnight Edge dropped in to say hi because normally he's our co-host today. I know it was tearing him up when he told me he had to back out for today, but we got the wonderful Brian to jump in, and I love. Thank you so much for jumping in today, Brian. I appreciate it, man. We got Joe's Atmosphere in the chat. Oh man, for you, I doubt it, but for me, it's great. Joe's Atmosphere is here in the chat. Penny is here. Dragon Ruse, Slasher Fred, Soul Assassin, Deborah Cohen, Awesome One, our dear friend Shinatsky, who for some reason isn't here in the studio with us, and Read by Nature, and Connie Cleary is in the chat right now. Plus, between YouTube and Twitter, we have an average of 35 people watching live right now. So I'm hoping everybody's enjoying the show so far. I want to get into some of these questions. Wait, did I see something new here? Did I see a new question? Hold on, let me make sure. Okay, I got them all.
Maybe.
Okay, Slasher Fred said, John Landis was not only a movie director, but he was also a music video director. He had directed 2 iconic Michael Jackson music videos, Thriller and Black or White. John Landis must have been associated with the Holocaust, the Holocaust, because boy, I'm trying to read this. I'm sorry, Slasher. If you watch Animal House, the Blues Brothers, and American Werewolf in London, they have Nazi references in. Well, they do because he was Jewish. And also in American Werewolf in London, the two, both characters are Jewish, even though the actors weren't. Griffin Dunn and David Naughton, their characters were Jewish. So that's part of the reason why. But Landis was Jewish, and that's why there was a lot of that in there. But I'm not sure why that came up. But anyway, let's see. We got Slasher Fred with a great comment again about John Landis. He used to be one of those most talented directors of all time. He is one of those people that simply disappeared. Well, he disappeared because of what happened. I've gone into it ad nauseum, explaining how his career was murdered. And the only great films that he got after
he did this after the unfortunate incident. So
Twilight Zone,
he and his wife Deborah Nadoolman was the costume designer on this as well, on Three Amigos.
And I love his work, by the way. And Landis, I will say this, he still managed to put 3 good films out after what happened. And I've always felt, this is just me talking to you, Vicki. I know who I blame for that. I blame the big boss. I'm not going to say his name. You know who I'm talking about, because he was putting the pressure on them, and they were doing things that they shouldn't have been doing. And Landis just sort of got caught without a chair. And that's why he got in so much trouble. When in fact, it was really the executives making decisions and putting on the pressure that caused that whole incident to happen. And that he was held more accountable than that other person I won't say the name of. Even though I've talked nasty about him before, because, you know, my boss has worked with him too. Dale Dye. I don't know if you ever met Dale. Dale's my boss. Do you know him?
No, I don't
He's
think I have.
the military advisor on Saving Private Ryan, Band of Brothers, all that stuff. And he's an actor too, but he's also a script doctor. He'll fix military scripts and make them more accurate. But you know, he's gotten screwed over by this person I won't say the name of too. And he loves him, but I don't have to love him.
Right.
I don't have. I love who I want to love, but I've always felt Landis got the short end of the stick on what happened to him, but he still put out some great films. He got this film, and my personal favorite that came out later was Into the Night, which I wished you'd worked on that one because, oh my God,
You wish I
wish
I interviewed for it, and my boss decided that he was going to hire somebody else. So I interviewed for it, but I didn't get on it.
Oh man.
But
God, what a great film too. I love that movie so much. But Landis still, like I said, put out some good stuff.
Yeah. I used to run into John and Deborah in Westwood back in the day when every weekend a new movie was coming out, and that's where you went to go see movies. And so they would be in line with everybody else and, waiting to go see the movie. And I would see them.
People have trouble imagining that.
Yeah, they're just
like
standing in line.
Film director in line.
100 other people.
I tell people because Brad Pitt is from here in Springfield, where I live, and
okay,
I worked with him and his brother on one of their main charities of getting shoes to school kids. But I remember going shopping and running into at different periods of time Jennifer Aniston in a grocery store, and I ran into what's her name, his last ex, I forget her name. God, what is her name?
Angelina
Everybody's
Jolie.
in love with her. Yeah, Angelina. Thank you, Stephen. I ran into her in a department store during Christmas time.
Really?
And I looked at her, and then I just quickly moved my back. My serious is really. Turned my basket, and I just started walking in a different direction because I did not want to run into her. I'm like, oh. But Jennifer was a sweetheart. She was a real nice person.
Yeah,
but,
I ran into.
But they have trouble with that. Picturing them out in the world is what they do. And so there's John Landis with his wife Deborah out in line to get. I am curious. Do they get extra butter on their popcorn?
I don't think they got popcorn. I think that they figured they had better popcorn at home, and so I think, and also that's more exposure. It's like, it's one thing if you're in the line, only a few people are seeing you. If you just go straight in and sit down, then that's
you're in the dark. You're anonymous.
Yeah.
You're more anonymous. If you're standing in the middle of the lobby, people are gonna know who you are. The funny thing, which was his own way of striking back, was that we were shooting at Universal, and there's tours, everywhere. It's really more for tours than it is for anything else. And so they decided, well, John, every once in a while they're going to see him, but they were told not to point him out, because a lot of stuff was going on, and this isn't really our show. They're just using our back lot. And so when John found out that they couldn't say anything, he used to wave at the tour buses going by, the trams going by, and people go, wait a minute, isn't that? And they go, to your right, you'll see there's a wall. Isn't that exciting? There's a wall. That's a great wall.
Oh my God, there's a wall.
A wall.
This wall, I can't tell you how many movies this wall has been in. And they're like, but wasn't that? No, that rock is a good rock. And so
this was the rock from Lost in Space.
Yeah, this rock is from, outer space or whatever. Because they're everywhere. They're going by every few minutes. And so, what they're supposed to do is if they see somebody, they're supposed to point them out. Oh, there's so-and-so walking. Oh, there's so-and-so. And so they walk and go, gosh, wait, that guy looks really, really familiar.
Nothing to see here. Carry on.
Nothing to see here. Yes. There's move along. I think of the in Naked Gun with Leslie Nielsen, and the fireworks building is going off.
Yeah.
That somebody hit the fireworks building with a firework, and behind him there's a gazillion fireworks, and he's standing there going, "Nothing to see here. Everyone move along. Nothing to see here."
Now, even though we're doing the slideshow right now, I do have some photos, and I'm going to start getting to those here shortly. But while we're watching the opening, do you have any specific memories of some of these scenes?
Well, I don't see anything at this particular moment.
So was this the Tucson stuff, or this is Tucson?
This is old Tucson.
Right.
Yes. So this is in old Tucson. And the thing was that they had, these are desperados. They're very dirty. So they would have this ball that had mineral oil and Fuller's Earth in it. And then every day you could go and you could pat down the guys and they would look all dirty and filthy. But this stuff never would go away. So they had like gloves, like if you were going to handle a voltage that would kill you 14 times over, they have those gloves on. So they put those gloves on, and then they would put the stuff on, and then you would walk past one of those people. Now it's on your shirt, never to come off.
You see, Gerry looks like that all the time. He doesn't need that mixture.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I do.
So the movie that they see, we shot at Universal for the old time silent movie, and one of the
movie within a movie,
the movie within a movie, and so one of the bad guys that they're killing at the end is the sound mixer, because it was a silent movie. There was nothing he needed to record, so he decided to be in the movie. And that was great to try to, recreate all of this, all the millions of candles, because the candles were lighting the set. So, you had more candles, and that
would have been a horrible job. Fun. You're in charge of candles, and there's 5,000 of them, and none of them can ever go out.
Exactly.
Okay, now I have to ask you, Vicki, was there somebody in charge of candles?
That's right.
Yes. Yes.
Part of the set decoration.
Just remember that as many candles as you see, there's more candles to replace those candles when they come.
The local candle store must have had a boom. It's boom time for them. Boom time.
Exactly.
It's made a year's worth of profits in one movie set.
When it was the first day that we were supposed to see the three amigos in their outfits, it was just taking so long. I mean, they're all hand done. And so it's taking so long, and we're like, okay, it's the next scene. Like, put something else in here. I'm waiting for them to come. Okay, then the next scene. And when they finally came, everybody their jaw dropped, because not only were they magnificent, but they were all different. So even though from a distance, they look like the three same, they're not.
Yeah.
And you can see Steve's hat has the sunburst on it. And that was his
they've got the pancake makeup. The pancake
and you see the chevron with Ned Niederlander. He's got a different thing on his hat, even though from a distance it looks like about the same thing. I loved the money with the dollar bill
sign on it. I know.
Just classic. I love it was.
The AMIGOS salute.
Oh my God,
Harry
that salute is so funny.
Harry Flugelman production. I wonder if that was a real person once. Harry Flugelman.
I
I
think
wondered
they
that
based
too.
him on somebody, but I
Hmm.
don't know if it was actually him. So yeah, so this is their little paint. You have to paint it like it's back then. It's like you can't make it like your artwork. It's like, okay, we didn't know how to do that back then.
Yeah. It's got to be a
Yeah, you didn't have
period
some guy
piece.
with Photoshop to just like throw it
Yeah.
together and they can print it and put it up on there.
Exactly. If you look, Ned's forearms are a little long because it's like, well, we want the hat to be here, but I accidentally put his arm down here, so now his arm just keeps going.
Were there any advisors on set that worked on silent movies? They would have been in their mid-80s by then, probably. But,
Oh God,
right. The oldest person was the guy that did the gun tricks.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So he taught Steve how to do them, but when it came to like he and the guy was 4,000 years old. But fortunately, you just needed to see his hands, and his hands were going enough that that you would see it. So I think that he would be the oldest, but I don't think he would have even gone to silent movies. And then there's two big scenes that got written out. So this is now we're in Culver City, and Culver City Studios is standing in for Flugelman's Studios.
Right.
Which it really reminds me of the old Paramount Studios.
Yeah, well, they wanted to have something that looked like that. So it's Phil Hartman, John Lovitz.
Oh my God, hold on. I got to point this out.
Yeah.
Fucking Phil
Joe
Hartman.
Montana.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I am such a Phil Hartman fan. Because
Yes.
he was a graphic designer and an artist. And I admired him before anybody knew who the hell this guy was. I was into Phil Hartman. Before he hit Saturday Night Live, I knew who he was. And that he does this scene, and he's so good at the that classic, what is that called? The Pacific accent. He's able to do that 40s talking, 1930s, 1940s fast talk. And he kind of does that here with, of course, his best friend. What was it like working with those two, first of all? And Montana.
Yeah, they were. This was basically one day we shot it at a Catholic college that was near USC. And they just redid the whole thing, and we're like, oh my God, is this what it looks like? And they're like, no, this is set decorating. And I knew these guys, John and Phil, from Saturday Night Live, and John Lovitz just was so they're both hysterically funny. They knew each other, obviously, so they could, play off of each other. And then John Montana, the three of them, there were many times during this movie that the crew had to be removed because they were laughing.
Yep.
And the fact that the Amigos are standing there, and 2 seconds later, 6 women run in and take all their clothes off. Now they're standing there in their underwear. And they're like, what just happened? What's going on? And I said, oh yeah, we're taking your clothes, we're taking your house, we're taking. So there's a scene that got cut out where the up and coming new star was this woman, and it was Fran Drescher. And
really?
so there is a poster of her, a billboard of her supposedly in her next movie, like a Edwardian movie with the big, the white hair and everything. Yeah. So there's a scene where they go to home, and she's already moved in. And so they go, and the door won't open, and then she answers the door, and she's like, "This isn't your house anymore." And so, but unfortunately, they edited that out.
Yeah. It's a shame.
I would love to see that.
By the way, I want to point out that Martin
and-
Acosta Santana is
Wait,
here in the chat.
The house that they used was the Beverly Hillbillies house.
Oh, right.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
from the TV show?
From the TV
Cool.
show.
Hmm.
It was
Oh, now I got to go back and watch that.
enormous. It was enormous.
Wow.
We were like, I cannot believe how big this house is. Why would like a city should live in there, not just one family?
Yeah.
I like the Zorro dig in this. The wealthy landowners fighting for the rights of the people, the peasants. They're the very ones that are exploiting them.
Exactly.
By the way, I've got to play this clip real quick because this is one of Anima's favorite, my girlfriend's. She just loved this moment right here.
Do you know what the word nada means? In all those Mexican movies you made, did you ever hear that word?
Isn't that a light chicken gravy that you just...
It's packed full of these lines. It's
Yeah.
And you can just imagine that this is on a studio, that this gigantic thing is this guy's one office, one person's office. It's got everything everything that you could ever imagine is in this one office.
Yeah.
And everything else is so little tiny things.
So in terms of the script,
And you know what else this reminds me of is
Gary. Sorry, Gary. I was
oh,
talking.
I'm sorry.
I was talking. I was already.
Sorry, go ahead.
talking.
Go ahead.
No,
Go
you
ahead.
Go ahead.
No.
I was
There's a
going to say,
delay here,
was Lorne Michaels on set a lot? Because he
Yes.
did help. Yeah.
Yes. He wasn't on the set all the time because he kind of knew a lot of directors will say, if you cast it correctly and you have a good script, basically you there's not a lot that you have to do.
Right.
So especially he's the producer and helped write it, so he knows that the script is good. And when we got the cast that we did, there were actually points in the script where it would say Chevy Chase does something funny or Steve Martin said something fun. It's like I have no idea. I am not going to handcuff them and figure out what they're going to do. I'm just going to say, let them do whatever they want to do at this point.
Yeah.
Which was great. And of course, it was so funny that we couldn't stand it. And it's like, okay, we have to move everybody off the set again. We have to move everybody off the set. Because the poor sound mixer is like, okay, all I hear is laughing, and it's supposed to be these 6 people. So I don't know where the laughing is coming from, but it's not going to work.
So just basically, you just let them be free and just go at it.
Just go at it. It's like the one that I remember most clearly is when they're trying to break back into the studio to get their costumes.
Yeah.
And Steve is on top of the
The
wall.
Yeah.
And Marty and Chevy are underneath. And it just says Steve tries to get their attention. Steve Martin does something funny. Like,
all right,
Mr. Martin.
I'm going to play that clip.
And
I'm going to play the clip. Here's the clip.
Okay.
Yeah, they it went on. We had to keep, because we're in Culver City in the middle of town, we had to keep moving the crew another block down because they were laughing, and then another block down because now it's supposed to be these 3 guys and there's 15 people laughing because it just said he gets their attention. It's like, well, we don't know how he's going to do that, but he's going to do it.
And all I'm thinking is just, how thick are these guys? just to not notice. It's just hilarious.
That they're just
God.
they're waiting. What they said is they were waiting for like a specific thing, and because he wasn't doing it, they weren't paying any attention to it. So, but they're all the same. Between the three of them, they had half a brain.
Yeah.
Because they're always, Steve's the smart one, so we're gonna send him, and he'll give us the clue. So basically, you have the smart one trying to get their attention, and the two idiots are standing there going, "I wonder what he's gonna do."
Okay.
That they're really falling for the fact that he's trying to make bird calls. That they're falling for these bird calls.
They might be
They
real.
think he is. They think he's got bird. Oh, here's Fran Drescher.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. That's supposed to be Fran Drescher.
Yes.
Wow.
Thanks for adding the word "supposed to be."
You're welcome.
Well, because she's supposed to be.
That is that's a criticism of the artwork, Mike.
Think of in Singing in the Rain when they do the first talkie, and it's this big to do. It's like it's really following what was happening in Hollywood at the time. It's like, oh well, we have to do our Academy Award movie, so everybody has to be. Here's the even the belt buckles were different.
Yeah.
So Gary, isn't it the actress's fault if she doesn't look like the artwork?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Apparently, according to Mike, I'm just saying, according to Mike here, yes, it is the actress's fault.
Actress's fault.
It is always. No, because when I rewatched this movie, because obviously, you have the artwork of the three amigos there. And then, when he's up on the ledge and, you see this other, next movie coming out, that's what I was thinking. It's like, oh, I wonder who this is supposed to be, if it's supposed to be like, this classic actress or something like that, or just something they just made up. Right. But now I know it's supposed to be Fran Drescher. So no,
it's supposed
really
to be Fran Drescher, and she just kicked them out of their house.
Yeah.
Now,
I do want to point this out, guys.
Sorry, Gary.
This is, I'm sorry. Just let me, I had to pause it here. Kai Wolf is a great German actor. And it's so cool seeing him in this part. And I'm just curious, one question on this. What did you think meeting him on set? How was it working with him?
He was a sweetheart. He was like, I don't like being the bad guy.
Although he has done it before.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like,
not to mention he's German.
And he's
German.
So they decided to add the scar so that he's had a life and he's fought duels and things. And so his favorite part of the movie is when he got to go starstruck over Ned Niederlander at the end.
Yeah.
I love that. It's one of the best parts.
I'm this big tough guy and I've got the guns and I can fly the plane and everything. And Ned Niederlander.
Right. All right. Deleted scenes. What were you wanting to ask?
Okay. I going back a couple of scenes. There was a scene that was left out that I had a question on. When they are still at their house, and this is the morning before they go in to see Flugelman. And we find out there's the scene with the housekeeper, and we find out that she's involved with all three of them, but they don't know. Was that actually filmed, or was that just left out entirely because of time or whatnot?
Time. It was left out entirely. So we filmed Fran Drescher kicking them out, but they took it out. But the scene with all three of them having a thing with the girl, we just realized we didn't have time. So so we didn't film it. It was in the script, but we didn't film it.
Hmm.
This is Old Tucson again. And here's the 6 upcoming that we had to pick up and turn around.
Yeah.
By the way, Anima says that Wolf was on Indiana. I'm not sure which Indiana Jones, but he was in one of them or the show or something.
I think he was in the first one.
First one.
Raiders?
Yeah.
Yep, Raiders.
Look at
Apparently-
the detail. Look at the detail. I mean, like the belts, the guns, it's amazing the work that was put in here. So this is Fred Asparagus playing. It's like, we have tequila. And ironically, Fred Asparagus also has a small role in Dragnet and the train yards.
Oh,
So I got to work with him back to back.
nice.
So we're back in Culver City at the studio for the interior of the saloon. So the exterior is in Old Tucson. The interior is on stage in Culver City. Culver City was originally David O. Selznick, and then it became Desilu, and then it's something, but
it's in disrepair now. I know it's gone through a lot of different hands because there used to be a whole city street there in Culver City too.
There was a whole
the Warner backlot.
Yeah, there was a one street that they had that was behind all the stages. So they only had 12 stages. They had a little commissary. They had some offices. They had editing offices and stuff. And then they had one regular street behind it. But
yeah, and that regular street is what's in Fright Night.
Right. And then on the other side of the street is a parking lot. If you're looking at the street and you turn around, you're looking at the parking lot, or you were. So when Chevy is playing and you just see his hands, those are Randy Newman's hands.
Oh my God! Really?
Oh, really?
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
Oh my God! Okay, I've got a clip of this. Vicki, I have a clip of this. I'm going to play it real quick.
My little buttercup has the sweetest smile.
I love that. I love that. Man.
This room full of hardened killers.
I know. Dancing around like little pufftas.
And that's the thing is, the great thing is that the German just came in, killed 4 people, and then said, "My friends are coming," and they go, "Okay."
I got to put up with this. Yeah.
These are his friends. We're not, gonna bother them. We're gonna live our lives. In this scene, Marty's gun kept flying out of his holster, so we had to tie it down because it was like, well, that was good, except for his gun went flying off.
I like when the German guy he's like, but they're not as nice as I am, And then he leaves and then they come in. It's like
that's why they're so quiet.
Yeah,
they think they're dangerous.
Yeah.
They're scared shitless that they're going to be killed. And we're back at Old Tucson.
Oh, man.
And they come out. And so, I mean, this is when continuity kind of thing, because that obviously was months later. And I did second unit, so I did all the plane stuff.
Oh.
So the plane here and the plane over.
Oh, I have this clip. I have this clip. I love this clip. This is like my favorite gag in the whole film.
Plane. Not just any plane. It's a Tupman 601. I flew one and little Nettie goes to war.
What's it doing here?
I think it's a mail plane.
How can you tell?
Didn't you notice its little balls?
Yeah. I had to think about that one for a second too. It's like, what? Oh,
Yeah, because you
okay.
think mail as in letters and things,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
what they're supposed to think. And so when he gives a joke, you can see how smart they are. They still haven't gotten it.
So
And then
practically
Steve gets it,
speaking,
and Gerry never gets it.
practically speaking, does that mean you were controlling, like you were working with the pilot to say, now we need you to take off, we need you to be over here at this time, we want you to go this direction? How does all that work logistically?
So logistically, when they were there, there's obviously nothing that they're seeing. So we would come as a separate unit. And what we did was we put the pilot who was going to pilot the plane in a helicopter. And the helicopter takes off so that we can see the angle that we need it to go.
Okay.
And say, oh, it needs to come this way a little bit more.
This height, this
And it
direction.
needs a little bit higher, lower, because the guy in the plane needs to see what it's going to look like from up there.
Yeah.
So we had to keep in mind how much time, because you have so much fuel and you have to get back. You can't go, oh, and it's time. They're up. Oh, and then it fell out of the sky.
It's funny that you need a helicopter in order to use a plane.
To use a plane.
Yeah.
But it's because we can't show the pilot what he's going to see.
That's his practical instructions and direction.
Exactly. And so then he would go back, and then he would get in the plane, and now it's just a minor adjustments to get him to go where we wanted him to go.
It's really another example of what you were talking about at the beginning about you're managing the shoot, really. That's what your role is, to manage the shoot and all the elements that go into that.
Yes, because it's like they're going to look up in the sky. If they just look up in the sky and then they look back down, we're going to go, what were they looking at?
Yeah. Well, they have to still do that, of course. There's no plane there.
Yeah, they're actors.
Yeah,
so they can act, but there's times when, was it the Blair Witch Project where everybody's like, where's the monster? There's no monster. It's like, yeah, we didn't have money for a monster. So now we just say the monster's over there.
That's right. We can hear it.
Yeah. So this is Santa Poco, which is on a cattle farm in Simi Valley. It was all farmland, all cattle land. And so we had to make a road from the gate in with like a couple of turnouts. And so if somebody was coming one direction, they could go on the turnout. And then, but basically it was one lane. So in the beginning of the morning, everybody's going in. At the end of the night, everybody's going out. In the daytime, you had people strategically where I have a car coming in, I have a car coming out. And they built this so that no matter where you looked, it was just mountains. So they didn't have to worry about, we have to take that out later. And when they finished, we're this is so brilliant. And then one day we're like, oh, we should put like a small fence around the outside because the cows don't know that it's a set. So the cows are going and pooing wherever they want. And I don't know if you've ever seen a cow pie, but it looks old from like the minute it's out. So you think, oh, okay, I can step on that because it's old, but you would be wrong. Not only is it not old, it envelops your shoe.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, and you can't get it off.
That's why you should only ever work with sheep, not cows.
Yeah,
exactly. So we had a small fence that if we were looking that direction, we could take that down because, you know, the cows weren't coming at that point. But at the end of the night, when we left, it was all cordoned off.
Did the cows
This
get a
is
per
where I
diem?
This scene is where I found out about cow pies.
This is Rancho Deluxe. Is that the name of the ranch? Yeah,
I don't remember the name.
yeah. Simi Valley. Yeah,
Simi Valley. Yeah.
it's been used for a few things, I think. I mean, I can't. But there was a movie, Rancho Deluxe, but
Yeah, there was a movie, Rancho Deluxe.
Santa Clarita.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
had interiors and exteriors were all built on for everything.
Yeah,
So you could go inside, you could come outside, do whatever you needed to do.
pretty. Yeah, big. It's a big help because it's already set up. Yeah.
Exactly. And we shot this mostly in order as much as possible. If you can shoot in order, then it's great for the actors because then they know where they are. Sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. The funny thing is we had real animals. We had goats, we had chickens, we had cows, we had pigs, so every day they would bring them in and put them in their little pens and they would just live until then at the end of the night and take them out. And it was spring. So one day there were 4 pigs, the next day there were 6 pigs. One day there were 4 goats, the next day there were 8 goats.
Bacon seed.
Yeah. So we had a lot of births, a lot. So fortunately for the kids, they were able to, like, the wrangler would come over and go, "It's almost time," and the teacher would take them over. It's like, okay, there they, you know, this is
That's
them
nice.
getting born.
Yeah.
And so we had 60 chickens. So in every scene, no matter what you're looking at, you will see a chicken.
Yeah.
So at the end of the shot, we round up the chickens and then kind of like pin them in for a second. And then when we're getting ready to shoot, then we unpin the chickens and the chickens go everywhere. So we found out, you know, sometimes chickens are fast and they decide, I don't want to go over there. And so we found out that pool nets, like for if you were trying to get leaves out of a pool,
Yeah.
this was a great way to catch the chicken. And you could catch a chicken and then flip it up, and now the chicken's in the net, and then you can put it over where you wanted it.
So you had a chicken wrangler. You had a chicken wrangler.
So I felt that
Wrangler.
this was something that I needed to learn how to do, and so I was an assistant chicken wrangler. Now, if you pin them in a certain place for too long, when they got up, there were eggs.
Yep.
There you go. Cutting down the catering budget. Very clever.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Ah,
You must have had
wranglers-
lots of omelets at breakfast.
And your
wranglers
bacon,
would
too.
come with the you know, they get a little cup, and here's 5. These are mine. So tomorrow morning when you make my omelet, I want you to use these. And they would send them
Oh,
home with you.
man.
They were so excited. So the last thing about the chickens, at the end, when everybody's shooting and everybody's a amigo, we had a scene where we put the chickens on the top of second floor stairs on the little stair, and so the amigos are supposed to rush out and start shooting, and the chickens are going to go flying. Well, they rush out and start shooting, then chickens just sit there
Just sit there.
because they're used to it.
They're
They've
watching.
been doing this for months.
Pay
So-
us more. Pay us more.
We're like, they're like, I don't know what you're doing, but that's fun.
Yeah, who hired these chickens? They're not scared enough.
They're
You'll
not
never
Yeah,
work
yeah.
in Hollywood again.
And you try, because it's like, it's only the second story, so they could kind of, you know, flap down and they're not going to get hurt.
Hmm.
So we had to have somebody poke them in the butt so that they would.
So Gary was there. Gary was there. you see.
Chicken butt.
anything horrible to it. You don't want to do anything horrible to it. We're very cautious, but that was the only way we could get the chickens to move.
I
If you
have
get
a
good
particular
Oh my
set of
God.
skills, and it's with this
Well,
finger.
In the credits, chicken poker.
Chicken
Yeah,
poker.
yeah.
If you get really good at wrangling chickens, you could fight Apollo Creed for the heavyweight championship of the world.
There you go.
I tell you.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because that was
All
the
right,
one
I've
thing I
got- I've
noticed
got
about this
two-
movie. It was
What?
just tons of chickens. Like almost in
Just
every scene,
tons
just
of
chickens
chickens.
everywhere. Yeah.
Chickens were wherever you were, whatever you did. 60 is actually not that many, but when you have them in a pinned air,
So I guess,
Yeah.
Vicky, I guess though, one of the things you don't think about when you're filming a major motion picture is that you might actually have to do some chicken wrangling.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't on your list at the beginning.
yes. When I interviewed, maybe that's why I didn't get Into the Night, is I didn't have chicken wrangler
You didn't.
on
you
my
didn't-
resume.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You left
And
that
they
out.
said, well, we really need a chicken wrangler.
I suspect foul play.
Oh my God, Brian. All right, with that, I'm going to play 2 clips here from this scene.
Okay.
I have to split them up into 10 seconds each because YouTube will gank us if we play over 10 seconds. So here comes the first one, then I'll play the second one a few seconds later.
I'm Lucky Day. I'm Ned Niederlander. I'm Dusty Bottoms. So together we're the Three Amigos.
There's more to this scene. I got to give it a few seconds. And now.
Well, you slime-eating dogs, you scum-sucking pigs, you sons of a motherless goat.
Son of a motherless goat? And who are you?
It's that
Love the wink.
surreptitious wink he gives him that cracks me up every time.
Yes, it's like we're in on this together.
Comedic
I know.
genius.
It's by the way,
Son
we
of a
still have some
motherless
questions
goat.
from the chat.
Yes.
Read by nature. I don't know if it's a question or what. Let me read this. Imagine there's a reason why only 2 out of the 3 amigos still work together. I don't know. I think that's directed at Chevy Chase. That he doesn't work with Martin Short and Steve Martin. Those 2 like to work together, but not with him. So I don't know if there's anything to that. Let's
They
see.
all got along.
Shinatsky.
So they all got along on set, Vicky, at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, they all got along on set. So what we did, because 90% of the time they were in their Amigo costumes, especially when we were in Simi Valley. So once they got ready, they never had to change clothes. So we made a trailer and we put games in it, like board games, checkers, puzzles. And then the standby painter made a little sign that said Amigo Clubhouse. And we put it on the door.
Really?
And when they weren't on the set,
Nice.
they were in the trailer. They were inseparable. And they would, or we don't know what they're doing, they're in there. They do whatever they're going to do, and then we bring them out, and they would shoot, and they go back in. And so it was the Amiga Clubhouse. And this was really Martin's first thing, and he and Steve just kind of bonded. Jeffy's 6'4", so these 2 are like kind of the same height. Jeffy's very tall, and they just became, they just do more and more and more stuff together to the point where they actually did become best friends, and they are still working together today. So it's not against Chevy. I mean, when's the last time Chevy worked? He hasn't. He's been retired
Since Chuck.
Since
Probably.
some TV series he was on.
Is it Chuck? Yeah.
Chuck. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Chuck.
But he really hurt his back when he was doing Saturday Night Live. with
Yeah,
all
doing Gerald
those
Ford pratfalls.
Gerald
Yeah, the
Ford.
Gerald Ford.
Yeah. So I mean, he was in a lot of pain a lot of time. So you know, he's not going to be somebody to, you know, run around or so. He's going to be relaxing.
Yeah.
And if you don't have back problems, then maybe, you know, you say, oh, let's take a walk, or, you know.
No.
So those two just became really, really, really good friends. Nothing against Chevy.
Did you see
Chevy
that
is
on the set
very
with us
funny.
too?
Chevy is very, very funny, very quick-witted. I was walking him to the set at Culver Studios, and there's a stairwell, this long stairwell that goes all the way up to the top of this other stage. And halfway up, this guy was sitting there with his bag lunch, eating a sandwich. So you're walking along, and Chevy and I are talking, and he says, you know, my agent, and points to the guy, the lone guy sitting there eating his sandwich. And
Right.
I laughed for 10 minutes. It was like, I didn't even really see the guy, like, until he pointed him out. But like, that's his quick wit. When he's sitting on the horse at the invisible horseman swordsman, and then he gets on the other, he thought that up.
It's actually one of the funniest damn things in the film. By the way, you do have a question here from our good friend Cavatino Cavalryman Che. Che asks, been looking, who was the armorer for Three Amigos? The guy that handled all the weapons.
His name was Benny. I can't remember his name at this second. So Larry Bird, not the basketball star.
Oh man, I was hoping it was a basketball player.
I thought he was a jazz musician.
Nope. Was the prop master. Kenny Zimmerman is his second. And I worked with them 3 times. But because we had all the guns, then they had Benny, who was this little Italian guy with the little hat on, and he's like, and you're like, there's something about this being all in Mexico.
Is it Ben Scott? Is it Ben Scott?
Could be.
Because he was involved with the stunt company.
Doesn't sound very Italian.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Is it Benny or Vinny?
Vinny.
Vinny, yeah.
Vinny Cup starts with a C.
Yeah, it's Vinny Vecchio.
Vinny Vecchio.
Yeah.
Yes. So Vinny Vecchio was in charge of was the armorer.
He worked on Dragnet
I
too.
found him on IMDb.
Yes.
So there you go, Che. There's the answer to your question.
They did this, and I did this, and then we both went on Dragnet. So at one point, we all were in the office prepping.
Yeah, Vinny worked on Dragnet too. Yeah, Vinny worked with you on that.
We worked on Dragnet, and we all had our jackets from Three Amigos. So we had to put our names in it, because you would just walk around and there would be another jacket, there would be another jacket. And you're like, is this my jacket? Is this your jacket? Is this? And so basically we spent that year to get 1986 was first Three Amigos and then Dragnet.
Nice.
That's fantastic. By the way, awesome. Mephisto's movie reviews is here, and wanted to share this thought: Sons of Motherless Goat.
So it means you've got no grandmother.
Yeah, no grandmother. Read by Nature says that's great to hear that they hung out with each other even when they weren't shooting. So
yes,
I think a lot of people like hearing that.
Yeah. No, it's funny. We always say, you know, the fish stinks from the head down. And that goes for the industry too. So if you have, like, if the actors think that their shit doesn't smell, then you're going to get all the actors who think that their shit doesn't smell.
Yeah.
Or if you get a director who thinks his shit doesn't smell, excuse me, I shouldn't, sorry, I swear like a sailor.
God, do you kiss your mom with that mouth? Oh my God.
Exactly. I cannot tell you how many times I've said things and realized my parents are in the car.
You're in the right place then.
Yeah. So it's I forgot what I was saying. It's okay. Whatever. Yeah,
this is a great moment in the film, by the way, when they realize they've got real bullets.
Yeah. He's gonna, tell him off. What are you doing? And he goes, oh, wait.
You're in big trouble, mister.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to put the gunk on their teeth every day.
Ugh.
And
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah.
To make him look like that. Man.
Oh my God. I've got this one's a great one. Here you go. How many jackets did you guys have? Was it a plethora? Thank you, Jay, for that comment.
It was one. We had two because we had to have the ones for the actors, and then we had to have the ones for the stunt doubles. So we had two sets of each.
So, Brian, this one is up, in the area where you and I would be interested. Apparently, that motherless goat joke is straight out of Monty Python.
I guess we're thinking Holy Grail, Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelled of elderberries.
Smelled of elderberries.
Smelled of elderberries. Now go away before I taunt you a second time.
Up in your general direction.
Get your other king.
Yeah, you're trying to think of something that's insulting, but also it's a PG movie, so you can't, say too much.
Yeah.
Plus, it's supposed to be 1909 or something.
But when you analyze it, it's not really. It doesn't really make any sense. But it sounds.
It doesn't make, which is why they don't get it. They're like, son of a motherless goat,
and that's why it works.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
What year did PG-13 come out? 85?
When Temple of Doom came out.
I'm thinking it was 85, right? 84, 85?
80, 83, 84?
So I'm looking to see if this is PG or PG-13.
Oh, it must be PG.
It's PG.
It was still PG. It was straight PG. Yeah.
So
you have to be more creative.
Yes.
Yeah.
And being out in Simi Valley, you see the sky is just like so blue.
It's beautiful.
Which matched our Arizona Tucson sky. There was a one time we were shooting, on the side of the road, and you looked and there was just horizon to horizon. Like I've never seen that much sky before. So we're shooting and this cloud starts coming, and you're looking at this cloud and you go, that cloud is coming right over us. And the cloud, I said, the cloud's going to be here in 20 minutes. And they all went, oh yeah, you obviously know everything. The cloud was there for 20 minutes. It was there for 20 minutes and then just kept going. One cloud. And it's raining. There's one cloud going across. And we're like, what was that?
May I introduce you to the province of Saskatchewan?
I just had never seen where it's like, okay, there's the earth and the sky, and there's the earth and the sky. I had never seen that before. It was.
By the way, Vicki, I need to introduce you to Martin Acosta Santana. He snuck in. He is our show producer. or as he calls himself, untrained monkey. He snuck into the show.
Hello.
Did
Thought
he
it would
sneak
go
in the back door?
unnoticed.
Sneaked in the back door.
Oh my God! Come on, Brian.
Oh, no.
Give
No,
my
no,
butt a
I-
break.
I would never. I would never.
Lies.
He lies.
They were always had to have their hats on because at some point, they'd have to, they can't just leave it someplace. So they figured out, if they hook it underneath their tie, then it's not choking them and they can still talk.
Did you say this was filmed in February, Vicki?
We started in February. I think February and March we were in Tucson. So we had shot a little bit before that.
Yeah. Still
when
getting
we
quite.
were-
It'd be getting quite warm then at this point to be dressed up
In
in all
the
that gear.
in the afternoon, in the mornings it was 32 degrees.
Mm,
In the afternoon it was 106.
yeah, and you've got all that gear
Okay.
on, and so have the Mexican guys. So there's- yeah.
So you would
If you
have
grew up
on
like I did in the Southwest, Arizona,
Yeah.
you wake up first thing in the morning so often because there's no cloud cover. So there's nothing to hold the heat down. So it all dissipates. And you get up in the morning to be frost on the ground. Same thing with I found out in Saudi Arabia, and the same thing in Texas when I was in training in the Army. It's like
Huh.
you wake up, it's freezing cold, and by noon you're sweltering.
we used to
It's like
have
100 some degrees.
4 layers on. Like you had on shorts, and then you had jeans on over your shorts, and then you had a jacket, and you had a sweater, and so as you went through the day, you just kept peeling off stuff.
Those hats would help.
Right.
I mean, they're covering a lot of areas for heat, although they're
Yeah.
black, so they're
Yeah.
taking heat in too.
And they're
Absorbing all
leather,
that
a
heat.
lot of leather, a lot of so we were where the El Guapo's castle fort was right in front of this hill. So they said to Old Tucson, do you want us to make this permanent, or do you want us to make this temporary? And it's your choice, but we're going to build it. But depending on what your answer is, we will either build it, so that it will fall apart because you don't want it, or we'll build it so that you can keep it. And they said, oh no, we don't want it. We've got everything we need. So we built it temporarily.
Wow.
And then they were like, oh my God, everyone wants to see this movie. Everybody wants to see it. And they're trying to stuff it back together again because it was starting to fall apart. But right behind it was this big mountain. And as the day would go along, the colors would change on the mountain.
Yeah.
So one day we're like, okay, we're kind of finishing a little bit early. It's like about 5 o'clock. And so it's okay, everybody go lock up the trucks. And I go to the trucks. There's nobody on the trucks. I go to the bus. There's nobody on the bus. I'm like, where is the crew? So I'm walking around and I finally go into the set, and the entire crew is standing there looking at the mountain. Because it's purple and orange and blue and all these, because you just never seen anything like that before. And I thought, okay, we've seen it. Let's get on the bus and let's go home. But that was amazing.
You can only be impressed for so long, right?
That's right.
No, I just wanted to. I can't do anything until everybody's off the clock. So I don't want.
I got you.
So it's nice that they were appreciating it. But so this scene is at Culver Studios, obviously.
Obviously, that is clearly not an exterior shot.
That is not an exterior shot. But the obvious is soon you will see a bunch of animals.
Yes.
And these are all, except for the turtle, real animals.
Well, so the turtle wasn't real. It was sitting behind Chevy Chase.
Yes.
That was the
So
only fake.
you had to tell them they spent 2 months because it's a food chain that
Mhm.
it's a rabbit and it's a coyote and he's like, okay, this could be really horrible. Because in order for it to look like it's just nature, is they all had to go to their spot. And then once they get to their spot, then you can tie them down. But you can't tie them down until they get to that spot. So then you get that one in and you get the next one. And remember, there's 3 horses behind them. So there was a lot of actual animals. And we're like,
I've got a big question about this scene for you. Before I do, I'm
Yeah.
going to go ahead and play a quick clip.
I never slept outside before.
Take it easy, take it easy. Dusty.
There you go. So the big question I have is the fried bat that
Yes.
they're eating. It sounded like bacon when he bit into it. What was that?
Beef jerky.
So they pressed beef jerky into the shape of a bat. That's awesome.
Yes. Yes.
I like mine medium rare. I love that line.
Do you want that wing?
You want a wing?
And see, this is the thing about like, okay, we have to make this, scene. Well, they can't eat bat. So what's going to look like a bat that they can eat? And then you have to go to each actor to find out if they have any allergies, if they have any things. So like when Daryl Hannah eats the lobster in Splash, she's a vegetarian. So that was mashed potatoes. So you have to, I mean, you don't know what we have to go through to make it look
Well,
like
I will tell
nothing
you,
happened.
Brian, you're
the
muted.
first thing I learned in film school was film lies, because what you think you're seeing isn't what you're seeing.
I was going to say that's ironic
And-
because Daryl Hannah, if she was a mermaid, she would have starved to death if she was a vegetarian.
Exactly. Exactly.
Even sea cucumbers are alive.
Yeah.
Yes. I worked in Blue City. Ali Sheedy was working on the show, and she's very vegan oriented to the point where we're shooting in San Pedro on the water in February, and she wouldn't take a down jacket. She wouldn't take anything that had any animal thing. So
Right.
we're like, okay,
Freeze then.
we could,
Oh my God.
we could help you.
We're not
so
asking
much
you to go out and
better.
kill it.
It's dead already.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but that, so sometimes you have to do that, or maybe somebody doesn't eat their religious persuasion
Yeah,
means
there's all
that they
sorts of
can't
stuff,
eat
yeah.
certain things. And so, but the whole point
Yeah,
is
if it's
that
not
it's supposed to be
kosher,
this,
yeah.
yeah, it's not kosher. They're supposed to be eating pork chops. So I had I worked with Sylvia Sidney. I actually worked with Sylvia Sidney twice. And the second time she's supposed to have had a stroke. And so Robert Preston is her husband, and he's in there, and it says he's feeding her baby food. And Sylvia said, the day has not dawned when you're going to be feeding me baby food. And so it was like, okay, and they kept saying, well, you go talk to, you know her, you go talk to her. I'm like, yeah, we're best friends. So we settled on applesauce. That had the right.
Which is really baby food.
Right,
It
but
is.
it's not baby food. Yeah.
Right. That's funny.
Oh man, I love this scene.
I will have to drop
I
out.
have 4 clips.
Unfortunately, I do have to drop out, guys. Unfortunately, my time has come.
Oh
Now-
no.
Yeah. So, Vicki, it has been an absolute honor to meet you and a total pleasure. Thank you for sharing.
Oh,
all
my
this stuff.
pleasure.
And we'll talk again about the Edinburgh military tattoo sometime.
Yes, please.
Maybe you can come
Well,
on
the
to my
next
show and
time
talk
we
about that.
cover a film,
Okay, I'd love
I'll
to.
invite you over, Brian.
Yes, let's do that. Yeah, great. So, yeah, have a great rest of the show, everybody. It's yeah, good to see you all. Take
Yeah.
care.
See you, man.
Take care.
Cheers.
Bye, Brian.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey, Brian.
So with
Would you like
this
some Cool
scene,
Whip, Brian?
when Marty turns the canteen up,
Mhm.
trying to think of, well, obviously it can't
Yeah.
be actual dirt.
It's graham cracker, isn't it?
Nope. What else do you think?
No,
it is?
what was it?
No?
I thought it was graham cracker, crushed up graham
Powdered
cracker.
Ovaltine.
Brown sugar?
Powdered
Chocolate.
Ovaltine.
Quick.
Powdered
Oh my God, it's
Ovaltine.
Ovaltine or Quick. That's what it is. Okay.
Powdered
You
chocolate.
guessed it, Mike.
And then
Now I'm going to
and then
show
they
that
had
one
to
real
come up
quick.
with- And then once Chevy, is drinking and drinking and drinking, obviously that's a
Yeah.
million gallons.
Yeah.
And then they had to come up with something for his lip balm.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show, first of all, I want to show
Oh,
Steve
man.
Martin's next. I've got all of these. I've got all of them, Vicki. So here's Steve Martin.
So
I love that.
you're
Lip
trying
balm.
to-
Look, they show him get just a squirt of water. Then we see dirt for some reason in Martin Short's
Yeah.
one. And then we cut and we see Chevy Chase. And not only do we see the water and then the lip balm. So I'm going to show both.
Yeah.
That's my
then-
favorite joke in the movie.
It is. It's one of my
He just
favorites. It's
throws it
not
on the
my favorite,
ground.
but it's one of them.
And
It's
then he
the lip
spits it
balm
out
is
twice.
the punchline to this joke. The
Yeah.
lip balm is the punchline to this joke.
Lip balm?
Oh,
is,
man.
This movie was genius. I just love all the setups and everything.
Yeah.
So were you out there on this during the shooting of that scene? How many people were on the crew that day?
Usually we have like 70 or so, because it's day for day.
Even for such a small scene like that?
Yeah,
Wow.
because there's a lot. There's nothing that's natural that you can show. I mean, like you have to have wranglers for the horses. You have to have the prop people out there for the canteens. You have to figure out what to put in the canteens. You have now we have these things called shiny boards. So it's kind of like a mirror that you can use to aim the sun, but sometimes you can't get it where it doesn't look weird. Like he's wearing a hat, but his face is really brightly lit. So sometimes you have to use just regular lights. So depending on, I mean, that's not the only thing that we did that day, but so another thing would have been them on the plane because we needed that exterior. So it's not, it's 70 people. That's a small crew.
That
And this
kills me
was-
just hearing that.
This was great because they had to put the like, we don't know what a singing bush looks like. Oh, that's what it looks
Yeah.
like. And then the special effects people had to put in the invisible swordsman effect.
Yeah.
But this is when Chevy was on the horse And then to get off the horse, he gets onto the next horse backwards. And suddenly he's like, what happened to the horse's head? What's going on?
I know, right? It's like, how did I get here?
How did I get here? And then this too is one of those times where they say they do something funny. So it's like, I'm not gonna attempt
Yeah. This.
to come up with something that they can do.
So here, I've got these clips here. So I'll play the first one.
Okay, now let me see here. We each have to fire one shot in the air, say the magic chant, and the invisible swordsman will appear.
Yeah.
So there's the setup. There's the setup. And then we get the first one, Martin Short.
Chip, 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 chip. Nanny!
Nanny.
Nani.
Nani.
And then Steve does his typical, because each one does their own thing, where
Yes.
Steve is known for doing he would do
Yes.
this like almost Swedish sounding thing. And
Yeah.
he did it in other movies, like
Yes.
Man with Two Brains, great
Man
stuff.
with Two Brains. Dead men don't wear plaid.
Yep.
Parley, 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 parley.
By the way, that's Randy
Are-
Newman singing as these.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Wasn't it Randy Newman doing the voice?
Yeah,
Because I'd
but
seen that somewhere else.
They sped it up so it didn't sound like him. Because he's singing up there.
So here we go.
And I, we'll be dead, Son. Great! You killed the invisible swordsman!
You have the
And then
next clip?
no, I don't have that clip, but I love it
So
because Martin Short walks up to it, picks up the hand, invisible hand, and drops it, and it reacts. It's like how
Yes,
he
because
did that is really so cool.
Yeah.
That was the special. I mean, this is the wonderful thing about movie making is that somebody writes something and you have to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
And it's like okay, he's invisible. So, okay, we could do Topper kind of thing where, like he's kind of a ghost, but no, let's do something different. Let's do it so that you see that he's dead, but you don't see him because he's invisible. So this is, they've been doing invisible people forever, but they've never done it like this.
Yeah, and it's so cool. You can actually see in the capture right here, the image. Over on the far right, there's a straight line in the sand because there was like a rug that was holding up all this sand, and then the weights were released so they could pull it and make it. Oh, it's genius what they did, but you could actually see the rug pull right there on that little corner. So, but that's genius what they did on this film. And
so
that's
you have
what we refer to as practical effects.
Yeah, but you also have to make sure when you get there, that's there when you get there. So you have to make sure, okay, nobody walk over here because this is going to be this effect that's hopefully going to work later on. And there's my plane.
Oh, there's your plane. It's a mail plane.
It's a mail plane. It's still a mail plane. So yeah, so we're out there with so second unit was probably 8 people, 10 people. And then me in communication with the helicopter pilot who's in communication with the pilot. So then they say, okay, yeah, now go try it again. But the great thing about a helicopter is at one point, he can just stand there and wait for you to make a decision. Like he doesn't have to keep going. Whereas with a plane, he would have to keep making loops.
Yeah.
Right.
After the swordsman is killed, he has that line, "It's like living with a 6-year-old." I catch myself saying that quite a bit, and that's from this
Exactly.
movie. Yeah.
Because you're supposed to shoot up, and he doesn't shoot up, he shoots out,
No.
and he shoots. And being the third one, the invisible swordsman's already on his way, so of course he kills him.
Oh, here's that famous moment that I clipped. I'll play that clip again here.
I know that I, Jefe, do not have your superior intellect and education. But could it be that once again, you are angry at something else and are looking to take it out on me?
So I have to tell you, this is the first and only time I have been on a movie where the crew has memorized the dialogue. The crew would, especially this scene, if somebody would say something even close, in conversation, even close to it. Do you mean a plethora? And they would all, grips, electricians, wardrobe, you name it. They memorized the movie.
Wow.
So when we went to the screening, we're like, okay.
You're reciting it back at the screen.
Like, I'm warning you, we're going to be watching the movie. I don't want to hear you say, you can mouth all you want, but you're not going to talk. And here comes
God,
the
I love
plane.
this.
So this is back in Tucson, old Tucson.
Did you ever get to shoot there any other time, or was this your only time getting to work there?
For me, that was the only time I worked there. I have a friend who lived in Phoenix, so I went to Phoenix a couple of times to visit her, but I never worked there.
Because it was a fun place. We'd go down on the weekends, and if they weren't working on a film, it was like Disneyland. You could go watch the gun shows. You could go. Actually, you could. They had this big, long, running water, wooden trough of running water, and you could, what do you call it? Pan for gold.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So all of this was made for temporary instead of permanent, and this is what they ended up wanting to actually preserve after the movie came out, because it was one of the popular things. And then that's Brian Thompson as one of the other Germans who went on to X-Files and a million other.
I love Brian Thompson, man. Yeah. Cobra, the main villain in Cobra.
Yeah.
With Stallone.
Yeah. So those two guys were both. And so this scene.
Yeah.
So he's supposed to say, okay, put your hat out. He's supposedly, aiming for the hat, but he kills the guy.
Yeah.
And the guy is supposed to fall back. Well, there's a ledge behind him, so he can't fall straight back or he'll hit the ledge. So he has to kind of turn, and there's a inflated balloon for him to land in behind the set. So John was like, no, I can see you turning. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, the guy has to climb up, to the second floor. Okay, let's go again. Okay, they do it again. And he's like, no, it's not coming out right. Now, each time that this person does it, they get paid for each one.
Right.
So even though it's kind of like, okay, he's going to be making a lot of money today, they're like, no, let's do it one more time. And after about the 5th time, we're all waiting for the guy to walk up and see him come up onto the roof. And instead, we see him walking straight into the set, straight over to John, because he's going to kill him. And we realize, oh, we should stop this. So we stop the guy, and he's just like, you have to, I can only do so much to be safe. And I understand what you want, but we've got to come to some kind of understanding, because I don't want to do this all day.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the more times you do it, then the more times something could go wrong. So we calmed him down, and he went and they did the next one. So these piñatas were strung up, and one day we came to the set, and it was very windy, very, very windy. So all of the piñatas were now horizontal, all of them, which they can't be horizontal because it's supposed to be hanging. So we had this thing called a cover set. That's like, if it starts raining in the middle of the thing, is that, so that you can keep going, you have a set that you can go to that's inside, whatever. Well, we had to go to the cover set on this day because sky is blue, everything was going well, but the piñatas were horizontal. So we ended up having to go shoot Steve in the shackles in the dungeon. And everybody's like, why are we here? Like, the sun couldn't be out. You usually only use a cover set because it's raining. So it's like, there's no rain. We don't know why we're in the cover set.
I got to ask about this set because this looks oddly familiar that I've seen somewhere else. Like an old Robin Hood movie or something like that. Because it looks so familiar, but I can't place it.
Yeah, it's probably just based on like some old Frankenstein movie type thing.
Yeah.
It was built for us.
Huh.
It wasn't.
It was an original set. Yeah.
It was an original set, and it was not underground. So we didn't have to go underground.
I want to get into something here real quick, because you brought up something so important about John Landis that a lot of people aren't aware, and I know this because I'm a big fan of Landis's, that he actually came up as a stuntman. And he was a very proficient stunt person since the 60s. And he had worked on Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He was a stuntman on that film. And he was one of the stuntmen for Charge of the Light Brigade, Once Upon a Time in the West. And he wasn't acting. He was hired as a stuntman, which is why in so many of his films, he'll hop in and do a stunt in the movie. Like the famous Piccadilly wreck scene from American Werewolf in London. He's the guy that gets knocked by the bus through the bookstore window.
Right.
And that's actually him. Also, he takes the wire pull shot into the wall in Into the Night. When he gets shot, they do the classic wire pull and pull him into the wall.
Right.
And he was a trained stuntman. So that's kind of funny to me that he kept making this guy do it over and over again. So it would seem to me he should have known how to explain to the guy what his problem was. So they didn't have to shoot it over and over again.
It was not that he wasn't able to explain it. It was the logistic. If I'm standing in the middle of the fort, I don't see the ledge. I don't see the bag. I don't see any of this other stuff.
Yeah, he's not seeing his obstacles. Right.
Exactly. It's kind of like putting the pilot in the plane with the helicopter, is that the pilot needs to see what does it look like from up there down. And in this situation,
not from down there up.
Yes. And so it's like, okay, well, why can't you just fall straight back? And he's like, there's something here, or let me try a different way and see if I can do it. But it's like, there was this ledge that if he didn't aim, he would have caught, and he didn't want to catch it. But also, stunt people, you tell them what the problem is and they just try to work it out. So the first couple of times, it's just, let me try something else. But when it was like, it kept going, then he starts saying there's a logistic reason why I can't do exactly what you want, because the set wasn't built like that. So he understood, and we had the pull in the cantina. One guy gets shot, and he's pulled with the rope into the wall.
Right, pull back, yeah.
Yeah, that pull back. So he's very good with the stunt people. The stunt people like him. I mean, like a lot of stunt people worked on this movie. And the horses, we had 30 horses or something. The horses, we had a 7:00 call, which meant that the horses had to be there at 6:30 in the morning, which meant they had to go get them at 4 in the dark and get them. And then some horses, you have the hero horse, who's very pretty and very mellow. Basically, I know I look good, and so I'm just going to stand here. Then you have the stunt horse who wants to run, who wants to jump, who wants to fall, and so what you do is you literally make up one horse to look like the other one with makeup and everything.
Right. Yeah.
And so when you have the stunt people, the stunt horses, especially back in the day when we were doing so many Westerns, they understood rolling, which is what you do to turn the cameras on. Mm-hmm. And they would get very excited, and then they would want to go. So what we would do is we would say turning over, which is what they say in England, because they couldn't figure out turning over. So here you are, you're starting to do this stunt, and you say turn over, and people are like, what the hell is she talking about? It's like, I say turn over because as soon as we get the clapper, the guys are going to, kick the horses into high gear.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I always used to remember, because I think of things like this, is to give them a radio, because how will they know that we've cut? It just took off into the sunset.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's not like when you get.
I've always wondered, because like Clint Eastwood, he never says action, and that's what you brought that up.
Yes.
And it's kind of funny when you hear actors that work with him, they'll go, well, he just sort of looks at you and goes, okay, go. And gestures with his hand.
And you're just like, what? Yeah. A friend of mine worked on a couple of things with him, and he's like, yeah, you have to just it's always quiet. No one raises their voice. Everybody just has to, keep clued in to what he wants. And then he'll do 2 takes because you know what he wants, and then he's done.
Yeah. So I've got some clips here. I'm going to go ahead and go through them one by one. Almost all the clips I made are from this coming scene. So let's go ahead with this one first. I love this scene.
It's a sweater.
Yeah.
Okay, that sent the entire crew into hysterics. And it was a real knitted sweater. So he couldn't put it on because it was too bulky. Like it wasn't let's buy this sweater. This looks like. No, somebody actually made that sweater.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Hey, Monkey Jeeves is here, guys. Oh man, it's good to see you, dude.
Monkey.
So
Monkey
they had
has
to.
this
So they're
comment
trying to
to make.
tie it around his neck, but it's actually kind of faked because they couldn't tie. It wouldn't tie. And Jefe is eating fake jalapenos because
really?
they said even if you could eat you can't eat jalapenos like all day long. So these were ones that look like jalapenos that he could eat, and you would go, "Oh my
What
god!"
were they made out of?
They were It was just a different. It was a less spicy
pepper.
Yeah. So he could eat them. I mean, he's Mexican, so he could eat it anyway. But we're like, if you have to eat these for 10 hours, no one's gonna be, good. There's
Yeah.
the sweater.
God, I love the way he wraps that sweater around his neck. It's so 80s.
What a Chad.
What a Chad. There you go. That's right. All right,
Exactly.
here's another clip from the dungeon. That reminds me of is a little Irish actor, Ron Carey, I think was his name, in High Anxiety. I got it. I got it. I got it. I ain't got it.
I got it. I got it. I got it. I ain't got it. So this is Kai's favorite scene.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where he fans out.
It's so great, and then I find out about tricks, and I think I was crushed.
Yeah.
And he goes, they didn't speed up. But I love that he says that he defends himself very quietly, but they didn't speed up the camera.
Yeah.
He's trying to say, I'm really that fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will play for
the third German, his name, I forgot his name as soon as I said it. He's the father, Morgan. He's the father of a guy that was the star of a 4-hour miniseries that I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah. His son's name is Morgan, and his name is. So it's not Brian.
Oh, you did the Kennedys of Massachusetts. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, it's called Stay the Night with Barbara Hershey and Jane Alexander. And it's about a kid that kills husband, Barbara Hershey's husband, and is immediately caught and thrown in jail, and won't say that she convinced him to do it. So it's really complicated, and it's
yeah, okay. Norbert Weiser.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Morgan Weiser is his son, and Morgan was the kid, the 18-year-old kid in that. So as soon as he walked in, I was like, Weiser, I know a Weiser, and he goes, "That's my dad." So I got
Space Above and Beyond. Yeah,
that is so cool. Okay, here we go. One more clip of this. I love that victory laugh.
He's so good.
Yeah.
He did all of the.
What I want to do eventually is be able to show these whole movies and have you or some of the other friends of mine that have worked on film, so we can actually watch the movie together and comment on it. But YouTube won't let us do that.
Right.
And it's so annoying because we're not trying to profit off of the damn movie. We're profiting off of our discussions about the films.
The history of it.
Right. Yeah, Norbert. So it's Brian and then Norbert. So he was like, "Oh, great. Kai's 14 feet tall. Brian's 14 feet tall. And then there's me. We said somebody has to speak German. And
Ich
then
weiß nicht.
Oh yeah. Shoves it right in his jams it right in there.
You can't holster it. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
That's the plan, Monkey Jeebus. I want to just move us over to Rumble because Rumble gives us a lot more freedom.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we could actually show the movie and talk about it while watching it.
Yeah. I love it when he hands Martin Short the gun and it just drops down to the ground like it's about 100 pounds or something.
Yeah, it's the same size that he is.
Yeah. It's like, dude, it can't be that heavy. Come on, man. Jeez.
Oh my
Well, that's
God.
the one thing
My girlfriend
yeah.
writes, hold on. She says, if only someone here would speak German. And of course,
Yeah.
she speaks German, so she's Austrian.
Ah,
Ein bisschen.
He's so disappointed because she wanted to meet you today, Vicki.
oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay, I've
left-
got this clip.
Go ahead.
I've got this clip. I'm going to play this clip. I fucking love this clip.
Not so fast, El Guapo! Or I'll fill you so full of lead you'll be using your dick for a pencil. What do you mean? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We
And
had
then his
such
henchman
fun
is
when-
trying to explain it to him. It's like, like, oh my God.
We had such fun when the orchestra, the mariachi bands were there for the party and for this, and it was like, you would think I can't listen to this song all day, and by the end of the day, you're just dancing and oh, are they going to do it again? And I'm like, they probably want to kill themselves.
Yeah, you at a certain point you become kind of punch drunk from it.
Yes. Yeah, there was a song, the Shaka Khan song, Shaka Khan, we used in Quicksilver for, we called it Can You Top This? When all of the bicyclists they're doing a trick and then the next one would get up and he would do a trick and the next one would get up and he would do a trick. And so we call it Can You Top This? They knew that they were going to write a song, but it has to be to a song. It has to be to the same beat. Yeah. And so we listened to Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan, for 12 hours.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I couldn't deal with it.
If I want to drive my friend crazy, I just send her a clip and she doesn't have to like listen to more than 2 seconds of it. And she knows exactly what it is.
Yeah, that shit would drive me crazy.
Oh yeah. But you get, then you just want to hear it. You just, oh yeah, I've missed it. It's been 10 minutes since you said it. So yeah, this is about 50 horses.
The sweater.
I always kind of wish. I always kind of wish there was an after credit scene where he's still pinned, trying to get himself loose.
Yeah, right. So, didn't you get it? Yeah, we're gonna. So this is the way they can get to Santa Poco in enough time to implement their big secret, because the other guys are riding on horseback. That's how they. So we had to once again get on the plane. Now this scene when they're talking, that's the same day we did the canteens.
Okay.
And then we have them going, and then we have the actual plane. Now the camera's in the plane. Camera's watching the plane.
With the dummies, those are not stuntmen.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
because I noticed something
actually lands in the Santa Poco.
Because I noticed something about that scene. Now maybe it was just, I don't know, a trick of photography or something like that, but I think I noticed wires on that plane.
Well,
in
there's
one
like
scene.
it's a biplane, so it's got some wires on it, but they see there's wires already on it,
Right.
so it didn't look weird that you had wires for the keeping the the non-humans on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Oh wow. By the way, E. Clay Thomas says, "Where's Polly? This panel needs some representation."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course,
And I said to
he's
him,
referring to
I
our
live in
good
Mexico.
friend Polly from Latino Slant. But E. Clay, there is representation on this panel. You have this guy. Oh, sorry, wrong one. This guy.
I am an honorary Mexican.
Also, by the way, and Vicki, I want you to look at him and tell me if I'm right or wrong here. Does Stephen not look like an old lesbian?
Oh my God.
He does this every time.
No, he does not.
Thank you.
So the girl, okay, the girl in the red shirt, who is the girlfriend of one of she's sisters with the main girl.
Right.
They're sisters.
Oh,
Patricia and whatever her name is.
They're real sisters.
They're real sisters. Yeah, they have different last names, but they're real sisters.
Oh.
And then to get these old sewing machines with the foot pedals, like so. Wait, the one of that's coming up, I love. So very old one.
He flew
so
very old one. Hey, Martin, he actually started out on a biplane.
Well, I only knew about the triplane Fokker.
I know they don't give you all that information in Venezuela in high school.
Problematic.
So they had to build the pit, and then they put the water in the pit, and then put the dirt on top of it, and the horses fell into it. But because it's water, they didn't hurt themselves.
Right.
But it's a trick you can only do one time.
Yeah, the horses are like, yeah, we're not doing that again.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Unless
they think horses are just stupid and do whatever you want. No, they have personalities and they will tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yep.
Unless they like that. My friend had a horse that was supposed to fall. And so she rode it out to the thing. And after, doing all the stunts, when she was riding home, every, 12 feet, the horse would fall over. And she'd get the horse back up and she'd go, okay, no, we're done. And the horse would run and then he'd fall over because he liked it.
Oh, man.
I do love this scene with all
trying to come up with something that all the villagers could wear because this is obviously a trick because these are the real they're the doubles and they're the real amigos.
Yeah.
I had to blow up that church.
And I love that he's narrating it and they're over there. And they're over there.
They're over there.
Why is he narrating it?
There they go.
There's the water. Yeah.
There's the water. And they're like, okay, that was fun. All right, I'm nice and cool now. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when you have so many horses that have been in the film business so much, you found some that go, oh, hey, I like to rear up on my hind legs. I like to do this. I like to do that. You can
Oh, I see
Do whatever
Vinkman's
you
girl
want.
is here. Hi, Vinkman's girl. Welcome to the
Hey.
show. Hope you're enjoying it. Okay, this is absolutely
Oh yeah.
so fucking funny. It's my fourth favorite scene in the film.
Yeah.
And I got to play the clip. Here comes the clip.
That was some good trick. Come closer. I have something to tell you. That was a good trick, too.
Oh,
He was
man.
so great. Alfonso was so wonderful.
Mm.
How did you like working with Tony Plana?
Oh, he was fantastic. He was like, I guess I'm going to get a wig. So he said, okay, I didn't see that coming, but that's fine. And he was just, everybody was just a real sweetheart. And because the villagers were the same all the time, you know, we had the same teachers with the same kids and the same villagers, and we just became a family. I mean, we were stuck out there in a cattle ranch in the middle of nowhere, and then there would have, you know, the day that the banditos came in and blew up the town. Then we had a lot of stunt people at that point, but the rest of the time, you just had the same people, you know, they became a village.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh-oh,
I
gotta
like
go,
this
Penny.
ending.
Okay,
Yeah, Penny.
thanks for watching.
See
I
ya,
hope you
Penny.
enjoyed the show.
Oh yeah,
This one. Yeah.
this one came out of
I
nowhere.
love this.
Wait, what?
I love it. Martin Short gets the hot girl in the end. It's like, yep, this is typical.
They're like, where did she come from?
Like, what?
So
Oh.
because Chevy's so tall, his horse was 17 and a half hands.
Wow.
So as
You
you
can
can
actually see how much bigger his horse is than Steve Martin's right next to him. That's
Yeah.
a huge horse.
That's a huge
by the way, I got to
horse.
play this. This clip I cut it off on purpose because I felt like he shouldn't have said anything. And you'll see how I cut it off here.
I'll come back one day.
Why?
Yeah.
Because he shouldn't have even said anything. He should have.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a bad way.
But I thought that last bit with Martin Sheen, I thought that was like the ultimate punchline right there. Because during the whole movie, he acts like very childlike throughout the whole thing. And then right at the end, just the hot one comes out. And
Right.
everybody's
Well,
like, what?
Because when they're having the party, when they think that they've vanquished the bad guys,
Yeah.
you've got Steve with one girl, you've got Chevy with the other girl, and Marty's with the kids.
Yeah.
And so you just think, oh, he doesn't know. Oh, you know, little Nettie Niederlander. Oh, he's just this sweet innocent. We haven't seen him with anybody. We haven't seen him talk to anybody, and we certainly haven't seen that girl before.
And then all of a sudden, the hot girl in the village.
Yeah.
But let's not that we forget that he's the one that convinced them to take action.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the girl that plays the lead was in Beetlejuice when they went to hell. She's one of the she's the one that said, "Oh, who knew that I would be here because of my little accident?" And she shows that she had
Oh God, yes.
Right.
That's the
Oh,
same
yeah.
girl.
She's the receptionist. Yeah.
She's the receptionist,
Oh my
but she's
God.
green.
Okay.
Are you excited for the new Beetlejuice movie, by the way?
Yes.
I am
So
too.
this
I gotta
scene,
say,
this is one of those scenes where, okay, let's remember to put a radio in the saddlebag so that when we say cut, they stop.
right?
Because
They
look
know
at,
not to
look
just
at
keep
the
going.
horizon. How far would they have to go for? So you're like, So it says, Carmen, Rodrigo, Cowboy. It's all in order of the credits in order of appearance.
As
In order of
appearance, yep.
cast in order of appearance. So when it says silent movie Banditos, it said Gene Kaplan. That was the sound mixer.
Gotcha.
Because he had nothing to do that day, so he became one of the Banditos and is in the movie.
That's fantastic. Now I've got some photos here that you sent me. Let's go through those real quick. We got this one here.
So this is the almost official crew picture. I don't know where the official crew picture is. I have looked and looked and looked. So as you can tell, some people are not paying attention because this is like the picture before. Okay, let's everybody pay attention. But
That's about 100 people there, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow.
So we had that, and that's 99% crew, cast, people from the office, Teamsters, grips, electricians, wranglers. So there's not like extras in there.
Goddamn Teamsters.
Poor Teamsters. They're the only ones that work longer than we do. So this is the Three Amigos gave this as a cast gift to every cast crew member.
Nice.
So it's framed, as you can see, it's burnt in, branded Three Amigos, 1986. It's a little faded because it's been up on my wall forever. But
if you ever want me, because that's one of the things I'm trained to do, is I can clean up photos like that. Oh, there it is. Hold on.
So,
wow.
So this has been up on my wall ever since. And for about 10 years, I was on Chevy Chase's Christmas list.
Wow.
Nice.
Every year.
Now, wait a minute. It's his list, but it doesn't denote whether it was on the good list or the naughty list.
I got a Christmas card from he and his wife every year for about 10 years, which is pretty good considering there's times when people 2 years later, they don't give you a card.
Let's see. Here's another photo.
Okay, this is in Simi Valley in Santa Poco. Just trying to show you the well. They did dig down a little bit. That obviously doesn't go as far as a well. But the fun part was the night that they are in bed and they're talking, and we have to shoot it at night because it's night for night. And so we had this thing called a Musco light. That's like 25 big lights on a big arm. And it's very expensive. And so the production manager said, now listen, the second you call wrap, you turn that light off because it's basically lighting everything. So, because it looks like moonlight. Okay, so second you turn, so we've wrapped. All right, turn off the light. Turn off the light, and it was pitch black. There was no moon that night. No one could move. Everyone was standing there because they thought, I don't know
Oh
where
my
I am.
God.
I can't see anything. I can't see where I don't know where I was. And I had to get a flashlight and go to the phone and say, we have to turn it back on, or else in the morning, we're all going to still be standing here. And he's, oh my God. But it's
Now, you
just
know
amazing.
that lighting system was set up and used for an American Werewolf in London, because they were trying to figure out how to replicate moonlight, and that's how that got set up.
Yeah.
And
So
so
that you're
I'm
getting
not surprised they used it again.
Yeah. Well, they use it's great for a big night shot, but it's still directional. So you have to keep moving it to make sure that it's in the right place. But at least the light is coming down. It's kind of like when we make rain.
Right.
It's in these towers that shoot up so that the rain comes down, because rain doesn't go up. So
Right.
somebody out
And if
there
you
with
see
a
it going
hose.
up, you're in the wrong spot. So
Exactly. Okay, that's nice. But so this is in front of the Beverly Hillbillies mansion.
Wow.
right.
This is the scene where Fran Drescher kicks them out. And so you can see no eating, smoking, or drinking inside, because we weren't supposed to be inside at that point. And I was guarding the door.
You look so
Done.
serious right here.
Yeah.
I was trying to look like you couldn't mess with me. If you look on the right side, you see somebody pointing at me going, "What are you doing?"
You
don't
know
wanna fuck with
why?
this woman.
Because now I'm sure you watch the Police Academy movies, right?
Yes.
You are Hooks in real life.
Yes. Yes.
So this is a great shot. Anne Rapp is the script supervisor. She and I had just done The Color Purple together the year before. And when it came time for Three Amigos, and I got on Three Amigos, about a week in, they decided they didn't like the person who had been the script supervisor, and they wanted someone else. And I said, well, I know somebody. I said, I have no idea if she's working or not. And they said, call her. And so I called her and I was like, hi, I'd like to offer you a job. And she's like, what? And so, so she was free until almost the end of the movie. And so she came on. And so we had done all of that movie. Now we're doing all of this movie. And while we were shooting Three Amigos, Color Purple was nominated for Academy Awards.
Wow.
And the DGA Awards. And so I said, well, I've been invited by Steven to go. So I'm going to leave Tucson. I'm going to go back home.
Oh, I thought we weren't going to mention his name.
I didn't mention his name.
Okay.
And so I said, what can we do? Because she was on the movie. I was on the movie. The still photographer was on the movie, and one of the camera assistants. So we had them take a picture of the four of us, and I put it in a card, and I gave it to Steven at the screening and said, we're here with you, thumbs up. So it's a really weird picture because, of course, the still photographer that would have made it look good was in the picture. So we're all just kind of standing there,
right?
Like it was picture time in elementary school.
Well, it's one of my
Oh,
wife's
Lord.
favorite movies. So
when we were in Arizona, we were able to go to an actual rodeo. And I said, well, if I'm going to go to an actual rodeo, then I'm going to get an actual Stetson. And I got my official Stetson hat. And I thought, well, I don't want it to look like everybody else's. So I found this pin of a pinto pony and I stuck it on there. And I have that very hat. So that's what's on the front. Is a
Cool.
picture of a
You still
pinto
have it?
pony. Yeah, it's in my closet. It's up.
Cool.
I have to like get up to get it because you have to for a Stetson you have to leave it upside down.
Yep.
You don't have it on the brim. You have to have it upside down. So I have it upside down in my closet, and I thought, do I want to get it? Will that be like really nerdy? I got my hat on. And I decided, yeah, he has a picture of you in the hat. That's close enough. So as you can tell, it's very 80s in my Japanese t-shirt and my Stetson hat.
You're so multicultural.
Yes. I have a picture of me on a horse, but it was from Color Purple. So this is me and the piano that Chevy plays in the saloon and one of the office PAs. So I pretend that I'm Chevy playing the piano.
I sure hope you called HR on that guy.
Immediately.
Immediately.
So as I was saying,
burro.
Here's some burros. We had burros, we had horses, we had pigs, we had goats, we had chickens, we had
too many chickens.
Too many chickens. Yeah. And then we had more. And then we had more. And then we had more. So
chickens are almost like rabbits, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Dumb as a bag
This
of rocks.
is Santa Poco again. Me and my Stetson. They're very good for keeping you cool and keeping the sun out of your eyes. And the guy in the middle was the one of the extras coordinators. So when you needed Spanish, he went to Mark and he said, "Tell them I said this." And he's like, "How did you get this job again?" I said, none of your business. I got the job. And then that's Tracy, the PA. So that's Tracy, me, and that's Tracy on the end. And then turn on the next one, and that's Tracy in the same place, me in the middle. And somebody took that picture. We said, "This is the colors of the people." The girl on the left was in the office. So obviously she was not getting any sun. And then there was me who turned completely black. And then Tracy, who was nice caramel. The guy in the red
and
shirt.
I got a suspicion that y'all were using a lot of Nair.
Yeah.
The guy in the red shirt is the first assistant director, David Sosna. So this was us about to do the
and it looks like the plane is on a jib.
Yes. So that it could move, so it could go down when it was supposed to be landing.
A gimbal. Okay,
yeah,
it's a gimbal. Okay. Look at that. That's really cool.
That's sweat. Unfortunately, that's just sweat. So Larry Bird, the famous prop master, not the famous
not the basketball player.
Not the famous basketball player, is on the left. And then that's the key second, Rob Korn. And then I was the other second AD. And Rob is 6'3". So I'm like, I'm not talking to you. You have to come down to my level.
Yeah, he's squatting down to eye level with you, or at least Maybe he's looking up at you, so he's making you feel powerful right now.
That's right.
By being
That's right. Because every
being
once in
taller.
a while, you know, you had to placate me.
Yeah, relinquish control to me.
That's right. Submit. Like he's doing right
That's him
now.
again, isn't it?
Yes.
That's him again.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's him again. That's me taking him down. I'm taking you down.
Got him in
a neck lock.
Yeah, you got him in a. That's right. You got him in a neck lock there. Not going
Yes.
anywhere.
Right.
Don't you spill my Coke.
Yes. So Rob was also on Streets of Fire. And David, the guy that I said was the first AD, was the first AD on Streets of Fire. So that's where I met these people. And the funny thing about the Coke is, you know, it was very hot. Like I said, you know, it's like 105, 106. And so you drink a Coke, you drink another Coke, you drink another Coke, you drink another Coke, and you realize I haven't gone to the bathroom in, 10 hours because you're just sweating everything out. It was like, wait, I haven't gone anywhere close to a bathroom. And you didn't realize it because everything was you drink the whole can of soda in a second and think nothing of it. I can't get through a whole can now.
Well, on hot days like that, because I had this one guy, I swear to God, his name was TJ, and he would like come up to me all the time in the army asking me like, am I okay? Am I dying? And I'm like, no. And one of them was over the fact that we'd been out in the field and it was hot as fuck. It was like about 112 to 120 degrees out. And we're drinking canteen after canteen of water. And he looked at me and he goes, is anybody else not peed? I haven't peed. I haven't peed all day. Is that normal? And I'm like, no, it's not, TJ. Oh my God. Go check with the medic, see if something's wrong. He goes, you are the medic. And I went, oh, well, then you're fine.
I have one more show and tell.
All right. It's Chevy Chase. She's had him all these years.
Yeah. In the closet.
Oh,
upside down. Oh.
It's the jacket.
It's the jacket. So
look at that.
The fun thing about the jacket. So I have in order to, because I put my name in it, I told you we all had the same jacket. So I started putting little pins on mine. And this pin is from
Dragnet.
Yeah.
And then the camera, and then DGA, IATSE, Panavision, and then this was my favorite restaurant. So the funny thing about so if I do this is just a green jacket.
Yeah.
If I do this, it's the Three Amigos jacket.
Nice.
So here's the story about the jackets. The production manager thought he had a great idea for the jackets, that we would be green and white, and then they would have a big red logo on the back of Three Amigos. He said, green and white, Chris. Oh, crap.
Hold on, Vicki. Hold on. We're losing connection with you. Damn it. Hold on. Stop your camera for a moment and then see if it'll start back up. There, you seem to be animated again.
Okay.
All right, give it a try.
So you had an idea for the jacket.
So he had an idea for the jacket that it would be it has a mind of its own. Green jacket with this big red Three Amigos on the back. And we all said, that's Christmas. Red and green and white is Christmas. We're going to look like Christmas trees. So they took off the logo off of each one and they just stitched Three Amigos across it. So if you literally put your fingers crossed, it's just a green coat. There's nothing on the back. There's nothing on the front. There's nothing on the side. There's nothing on the arms. It's just a green and white jacket. It's a great jacket, but it's just a green jacket if you just covered it up. And all you needed was one finger. You covered it up.
Wow.
And then on Dragnet, they got police jackets. And they stitched, which you do in LAPD, is they stitch your badge and your number. So 714 is Friday's number. So it says 714. Right. But nobody pays attention to the badge number unless, you're trying to do something. And then it had Dragnet on the back. And which you'll see if we do something on Dragnet. I'm not going to show it this time. So
we will do it. I will have you on.
Okay. So I was coming home one night and I had my jacket on, and I lived on a cul-de-sac at the time, and the police had cordoned off my street. And I'm like, oh man, I can't believe it. What's going on? And so we're all sitting there waiting to be let in. So finally they started letting us in, but it turned out that everybody was camped at my house. So they were in my driveway. I couldn't get in. So I pull up and I roll the window down and I go, hey, can I get some help? And the guy turns around and he sees my LAPD jacket. He goes, hey, how you doing? He goes, what division are you with? And I thought, Rampart, which was the only division I could possibly think of. And then hopefully nobody knew anybody from Rampart. He goes, oh yeah, we'll get you in here. Yeah, we'll moved heaven and earth.
Yes.
And I said, well, if you're like looking for somebody and you haven't found them, like, is it okay for me to go in? And they go, oh yeah, we'll be watching, you just come to the front door, and if you don't come out, we know. I was like, okay, I like this. I said, and then I had to make sure I never leaned forward because then you'd see Dragnet on the back. Yeah. But from the front, it just was a policeman's jacket. I was like, oh yeah. LAPD.
That is so awesome. Oh my God. Oh, you should have got into acting that second. If you're fooling the police, you must be that
good. What did make you want to work in film?
When I was in college, I was in the dorms and I started meeting people who had come to be film majors. And I did not know that was something that could be taught. I thought that they did a DNA test. And if they did the DNA test and you had the right gene, then you could make movies. And if you didn't, then you couldn't. Right. And so here I'm meeting these people. And it turns out that my dorm was next door to the film school, which looked like a barn. So, of course, there's no way I would think that, wow. This is the best film school ever. This is the first film school ever. This is the bomb diggity. And so as I started talking to my friends, I decided there's one class I could take. I would take that class. I loved it. And I said, this is something I want to try to do. And I was just in time to change my major for junior year. So it took me all of sophomore year because it's hard enough to get into the film school. It's USC's film school.
Right.
It's hard enough to get into USC's film school in an ordinary way. I'm switching majors from mathematics. And so in that class, they had a lab. And because the class was kind of like this, we call it a Mick class for Mickey Mouse. people would come in and from the frats and they'd have their beers and they would, laugh and be on dates and stuff. And I said, this is ridiculous. I can't see. I can't understand anything. And they said, well, there is one lab that is just for film majors. And so I started going to that where everybody's sitting and listening and taking notes. And I said, I had been in stage crew in high school. And I said, I know that those two don't actually cross, but that's all I have. And I spent a year getting my major changed into film production, which was even harder to get into. And so then I spent the next 2 years making films and said, I have untold energy for this. We went to make a dawn film, a dawn shot in the desert, which meant we had to leave at 3:00 in the morning so that we could get there, so we could set up so that we were there when dawn came. And I had no problem. Now, if it's a calculus class and it's 9:00,
yeah, you sleep until it's time, right? Yeah. Well, I do have to point out really quickly here. I have to go to the other studio real quick here while I do this, main studio. And I've got to play a video for you because you just admitted to something that you are. You're a math nerd.
I'm a math nerd. That's one of my favorite movies. Hello.
Oh yeah.
I actually did some additional scenes on Revenge of the Nerds 2. Anthony,
it's not. I don't see that on here.
No, because it was only a few days. It was only a few days. But what's his name? Anthony
Michael Hall or
no. He was
no. I know who you're talking about.
It's Robert
what is his name? From ER.
Yes.
Yeah, from ER.
Yeah. So he couldn't be in the film. He was working on something else, but because he was the best friend, they decided, he had broken his leg. So now they did days of just him hearing what's going on, and then they were able to insert those in through the entire movie. And then we had one day next to a pool, and the nerds were there. So I felt I could represent.
Yeah, exactly. Represent the nerds. Yeah, baby.
Nerds.
Yeah. Now I got to tell you, 2 people are here that I have not, because I love having you on, Vicki, and I put all my attention on you this show. But there are 2 people in our chat who always get special videos. That is my good buddy Kyle, also known as Zax.
Hey, fuck you, Kyle.
Buddy who I don't know if he's even still here is Tim. This is his video. I owed him this.
By what name are you known?
There are some who call me Tim.
Now I don't know if you know the story behind that is they had come up with this elaborate name, this long name for this character, and they started filming, and he forgot what it was. So he just goes, Tim, and they just went with it, and it's fucking brilliant. I think it's one of the funniest moments in the film.
It's my favorite.
Great enchanter, Tim.
I love it, and I know 2 Tims, and I say, you have to do this. You have to learn how to do this because you are Tim, and they're like, yes, we've heard that before. And I said, yes, but it's so funny.
Yeah.
This is, I'm the great.
My daughter, I raised her.
Bam, 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 bam. Tim.
Yeah, just blowing up stuff. My daughter, I raised her on Monty Python, and she still walks around quoting Monty Python, and she'll do that every once in a while. My favorite thing is like she was out with the cats, and one of the cats started getting like a wild hair up its ass. And she turned to her boyfriend in front of me. I saw this. She goes, "Run away!" And I just started laughing because nobody else understood why that was funny. It's funny because that's what my thoughts on. Now I'm going to tell you something. When I was younger, I'm not a feminist. I don't believe men can be feminists, but I'm very pro feminism, the original, old school feminism, which is all about equality. And I was raised by feminists, my two sisters, and I understood, exactly what they're going for. But I would run into every once in a while these neo-feminists when I was younger. And this one I worked with, her real name was Sarah Heinbaugh. I hope you don't hate me, Sarah, for telling this story. Sarah, I would just say the shittiest things that are sometimes just to rub her the wrong way. And she said something to me and ended that statement with, "Well, I hope I don't threaten your masculinity." And I retorted, "No, you don't. And I hope I don't threaten yours." And I freely admit that I saw that when I was a kid. I was 10 years old, and here it is.
Do I threaten your masculinity, McLeod?
No. I threaten yours.
Brenda Vaccaro?
Brenda Vaccaro, man. And she played the partner for what?
Wow.
It was on the show McLeod. I loved McLeod. And she was his partner for one episode. Oh my God, Dennis Weaver. Oh my God.
That's so funny.
Which was basically CBS's version of Coogan's Bluff. It was clearly inspired by Clint Eastwood's movie. But I stole that as a kid, and I said that to her. And then years later, I put it into a comic strip that I drew for a magazine. And I put that in there, and everybody wrote in and goes, "Where did you get that from?" And I said, "Well, I actually said that." But even before that, it was said by McLeod on CBS back in 1975.
So you're giving the props.
But I thought you'd
you're
enjoy
giving
that.
Props. Yes. I was thinking...
I didn't pick and steal every once in a while. I don't know if you did that in your life, but I have a great memory for punchlines.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of my favorites.
My favorite, I was thinking of the other day, I was in film school, and there was a section of the film school were Air Force people, and they were learning how to make films so that they can, do training films, etc. So we had like 3 guys that were in their 40s learning. And so one day we were standing outside of the class, and the teacher hadn't come yet. And this one guy says, "Hey, Vicki, is your name Victoria?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, Victoria, that's such a wonderful name. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, how come you're not known by Victoria?" And I paused for a second, and I thought, this is one of those moments when I can be brilliant. And I said, "I don't know, Archibald. Why don't you go? Why do you go by your nickname?" And he said, "Point taken."
Point taken.
I was like, oh man, why is Archie? Wait, his name has to be Archibald.
Yep.
I don't know, Archibald. Why don't you be? No.
Now there's a little gig that you had. And before we end the show, and we went long on this one, 3 hours. And usually we only do 2 hours, but this has been so much fun hanging out with you. But you got to work for 5 episodes on Zorro and Son. And I'm a big Zorro fan. And I am also an even bigger fan of Henry Darrow. He was one of my favorite actors when I was a kid. And what was it like getting to work with him? Because you got to do 5 episodes.
Yes. It was such a smart idea of Zorro's getting a little long in the tooth. and his son knows the secret, and so his son is helping him, and then they find
Yeah,
out.
Don Carlos. Yeah.
And so now they can both, work their magic. But it was so tongue in cheek that first Henry Darrow, High Chaparral. This is the thing, is that you get to
High
see
Chaparral.
people
That's what we all got exposed to him. Yeah.
who you think, I will never meet that person in my entire life. And here I watch their show, week after week after week after week, and High Chaparral, and I'm just like, you feel like you're talking to your television, except your television turns around and talks back to you.
It
And
talks back to you.
yeah, and then Greg Sierra was the bad guy, and from Barney Miller, and Bill Dana was in it, and it was just amazing.
Great comedic actor, and Barney.
Great. Barney Martin
was on it too.
Yes, and I love westerns, and I've done a whole lot of westerns. And what was be funny is I would come in the morning and I would grab an apple, because it's like, okay, it's not going to get anywhere, it's not going to gooey, and if I usually had on gloves because it was freezing, and I'm eating the apple, and if I don't finish the apple, then I go over to the wranglers and I say, who's been good today? And they'll say that one, and I'll go over and I'll give them the apple. But I don't give it to, I don't just randomly, because it's a treat. So it's like, you have to be the one that's like, okay, you were good. And so after a while, the horses would start, I've been good. I
was
see
good.
the
I was
apple.
yeah.
Do
a little gallop thing.
The apple. But the best episode was the bad guy. Well, no, John Machida Jr. played Corporal Cassette, and they would send him to listen to conversations, and he would come back and, in his John Machida way, verbatim tell what he said.
Wow.
So he's like, and so if they changed any of the dialogue, we had to change it for him. And then they had, was it, it's supposed to be Jacoby and Myers is like a insurance group. They call it Jacoby and Mendez because it was
Hispanic. Gotcha.
It was Hispanic. I can't see Jacoby and Myers and not say Jacoby and Mendez.
Did you ever get to
so
work with this guy?
Yeah. Oh, I did. I think on Whiz Kids.
This guy was one of my favorites. He's best known for playing Jaime the robot on Get Smart, but this guy was so freaking funny. Great comic chops.
Yes.
Great comic chops.
And so when you're around people, and then we were at Disney, and this was when Disney was basically still exactly the way it was when Walt was there. So like, as you're walking down the little avenue, there's no cars, there's squirrels going up in the trees, and it was kind of like preserved from what he had been there. And then you go and do another job, and then another job, and another job. So I worked there for 2 years. Some things were like additional. I worked on the movie Trenchcoat with Margot Kidder and Bill, the guy from Airplane.
Leslie Nielsen?
No. The guy that played the pilot that had the drinking problem.
Oh, that's
Peter
Washington.
Graves.
No.
Peter Graves.
No.
No.
Robert Stack.
No, the young guy. The young guy.
Right.
Oh, the star.
The star.
Yeah.
Oh my god, why am I? His name is escaping me. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it's I was closer to it before you said all those other names, but so the
Sorry.
movie takes place in Malta, but the beginning of the movie and the end of the movie takes place in San Francisco. So we went up there and we shot the beginning and the ending, but it was
Robert Hayes.
Yes, Robert Hayes.
Robert Hayes.
And so you're just standing there going, okay, can I tell you how many times I've seen Airplane? Like, and then when you're in the airport, Airplane just runs in your brain and you just keep thinking any second, because it was the airport. It is the LAX airport. So it's like, oh, they shot this here, they shot this here, they shot this here. Now it's changing now,
Right.
but back then,
yeah, I was there back in 2013 and at LAX, and it was already changing so much. TSA had changed so much about the way things were laid out inside. It's completely different than what it was when I was a kid. But I know I don't want to do this, but we got to wrap up. I want to point out that we will be back with you on another. It'll probably be one Tom and Gerry show, and probably our Wednesday show with Anima and me. So Anima will get to hang out with you. For that one, we'll be doing probably this movie. Oops, I hit the wrong one. That one, Streets of Fire.
de Fuego.
Yeah, Cales de Fuego. And that's for you, Martin. I did that just for you. And
you butchered that just for me. Thank you.
Yes, I butchered it just for you.
I know that I, Jefe, do not have your superior intellect and education. But could it be that once again you are angry at something else and are looking to take it out on me?
Maybe.
And then, of course, we'll do
know.
Dragnet on a Saturday. It'll be fun to have you for those. My goodness. You also worked on 2 shows. Now, Ally McNeil, you only worked on 1 episode, but you got to do 5 episodes of Tracy Takes On, which I love that show.
Yes.
So I got such a kick out of her.
The way that they did they had to do that was because she can only do 2 makeups in a day, that we would take 5 episodes and we would take all the scenes that she's in this character from all 5 episodes and we would shoot those in a day. And then we
that
would
makes sense.
change her.
It's
and
same thing with location shooting. It's exactly the same thing. That if you're going to shoot all the scenes that take place at that location. Yeah.
Exactly. And so because she can't, it's a lot of, she was tuning into Chinese women and men and hairy men and stuff. So there was so much makeup in order to make sure that she could come the next day and, put the makeup on. So I ended up doing 5 episodes with Michael McKean as my director.
Oh, I love that guy.
Who we just bonded. We bonded over movies. We bonded over music. We bonded over so much stuff. And he ended up giving me a book of Spinal Tap that had a picture of him, which he says, of course, it's my head and then somebody else's body.
Right. Because it's Spinal Tap is such a great film, and like, did you ever listen to the music to that?
Oh yeah, Big Bottom.
Big Bottom.
That's Mud Flaps. My Girl's Got 'Em.
My Girl's Got 'Em. I was in high school, my last year of high school when that came out, and I was just like, oh my God, all my friends and I were losing our minds. This is the greatest thing to ever happen to film. So, but anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here, Vicki. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. 3 hours. I've never done an interview for more than 2 hours. I usually cut them, but we were having so much fun talking. And I love that about you, because you're a story person. and you always have great stories. And when we do another Blade Runner episode, I'm going to have you tell that story again because that killed me. Harrison Ford, you're in my eye. You're in my eye
You're
line.
in my eye
You're
line.
in my eye line. I've told that story because you told it to me, and I loved it so much. I've retold it. I'm like, that is so fucking funny. And the punchline to it is, you guys are basically like 4 city blocks away from where you started, and you get an announcement. Harrison Ford on set. Harrison Ford on set, and it's like, oh shit.
Oh shit! We are nowhere close to where we're supposed to be.
I know it's great stuff. But thanks again, Vicki. Thank you so much.
Oh, my
It's so good.
pleasure.
I'm grateful to have you as a friend. You know,
Oh,
because you and I message occasionally back and forth.
yes,
I even shared
yes,
some of my new music with you,
yes.
and I hope you enjoyed that stuff.
Of course, I
We're
have.
right now. Those are the demos. We're going to be doing them full live instruments. That's all digital keyboards, synth. The final stuff's going to be even better because it'll have real guitar and all that shit. It's going to be so good. It'll be exciting. But I want to thank everybody that stuck around. We've got almost 60 people watching right now, which over
Wow.
time that adds up because that's a lot of people in and out during the
Yes.
show.
Yes.
And so that'll end up to, we're probably going to end up with about 1,000 views by Monday, is my assumption. Monday or Tuesday, we should have about 1,000 views. Because, you know, you're going to be a fan favorite on this channel. You watch. You're going to be a fan favorite. People are going to, oh, she's coming back on. And then everybody will pile over to watch because you tell such great stories. And you're the perfect person for talking about these films. And I'm going to make an interesting comparison here because when I wrote City of Fire with Dale Dye, and it's a story about the Battle of Missoula in 2004, and I chose to write it from the combat medic's perspective, not because I was a combat medic, but because I understood that is the one person that's going to be in almost every part of that battle, because they're constantly moving around, talking to people, bringing water, making sure everybody is hydrated and
Right.
getting rest. And, you know, so that's why I chose to do it. And when he ended up writing his draft of it, it's even better, by the way. You're like that. You're like the combat medic. And as a second assistant director, you're in that support position to where you are seeing everything that's going on. Everything behind the camera, in front of the camera. You're seeing it all. And that puts you in such a unique position. I shouldn't say such, because there is no gradient levels of uniqueness. It puts you in a unique position. I correct people when they do that to me. Oh, that's very unique. I said, really? There's something above unique?
Exactly. Better, uniquer.
Yeah, it's uniquer. Uniqueier. We just made up a new word. Uniqueier.
And I'm the uniquest.
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 Yeah.
That's almost like Doomcock with his bestest ever.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Or as my late brother Michael would say, it makes it more better.
Yes.
Yeah.
More better. Exactly. I was telling somebody the other day, I said, I'm, first AD on the set, and I'm, got a lot of weight on my shoulders. And somebody'd say, oh, we're going to do it like this. And I'd say, nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh. You're in charge. You're our fearless leader. And your answer is nuh-uh. Are you sick?
Nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh.
Give it to Mikey. He'll eat anything. Nuh-uh.
That's right. Nuh-uh. So I want to thank our chat today. It was very active. Tom Connors, who was normally our guest host or co-host on the show, couldn't make it. Thanks for popping into the chat. Our good friend Joe's Atmosphere, Penny, Dragon Ruse, Slasher Fred, Soul Assassin, Deborah Cohen, Awesome One, Shinatsky, Read by Nature, Connie Cleary, Cavatino Cavalryman Che. That used to be hard for me to say. Now I can say it. E. Clay Thomason, Parrothead, Jillian Inn, Mephisto's movie reviews, FKHC 2000 Fire, as we lovingly call him, Tim. Let's see. Monkey Jeebus was here, and I always say this to him this way: Monkey Jeebus, thank you. Come again. Vinkman's girl is here. My good buddy Zax, aka Kyle. Fuck you, Kyle. And DJ Ronnie G was here, and Lori, and of course the love of my life, Anima Confusa. I want to thank everybody for watching today. I hope everybody had fun. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. It helps with the algorithm. And plus, we also like to hear what you guys have to say about the show. If there's something that you want added, if you think we didn't catch something, if you think I was full of shit, hey, I enjoy the comments. I don't take this shit personally. I really don't. So everybody, have a wonderful Saturday. And oh wait, there's some last comments. Betterer, yeah. Vinkman's girl says betterer. There we go. Chase says it. When uniqueness becomes so unique, it becomes unicorn.
Unicorn.
Thank you for saying all the compliments. And here's a good. I hope you do another live stream with Gerry, Vicki. I guarantee you, Deborah, she's going to be doing at least 2 more before the end of the year. At least 2. And it is so much fun hanging out with you. It's like, this is why I like doing these shows, is when I get a friend who's like in the industry talking about stuff and just talking about what you did and the people you knew and the shit you saw. I mean, you're telling war stories about filmmaking. I love that. That's my second favorite kind of war story, is movie making.
Exactly. Those are the ones that I have. That's what we always say, it's like, and then we sit around telling war stories. People go, "You were in the war?" It's like, "Oh no, I work in the film industry."
Now, my dad is actually, by the way, the one that got me to fall in love with film history. Okay. And he used to get these books. I can't remember the guy's name. He was a famous Hollywood writer that wrote about Hollywood. And I can't remember the guy's name, published a lot of books. And he would have all these behind the scenes stories because he would like hobnob with Errol Flynn and all these guys. And my dad would sometimes just read these to me. He'd read, selections from the book. I'll read this. And he read to me this one section where Errol Flynn, I can't remember was it Carl Malden? I think it was Carl Malden and the guy from F Troop. Forrest Tucker, where they had just been at the country club there in Beverly Hills, and they were taking showers and they were in the locker room, and Tucker just walks out, and I'm serious, I was 11 years old when my dad read this to me, walks out with the biggest hog in the world that just made every guy in the room shut up. And I just sat there going, what am I ever going to do with this trivia except for tell it on the show sometime in the future? I'm like, why did that end up in that book? It's still like, why is that in that book? It's so bizarre a thing to comment on. And but anyway, stick around for after the show, Vicki. We'll talk for a few more minutes. Yeah, now you know the rest of the story. After the credits play, stick around so we can talk after the show. But everybody, have a great Saturday. Be safe, and we'll see you again for Military Monday. We're going to be doing what is it? The Ungentlemanly Warfare film with Henry Cavill. We'll be talking about that on Monday. So that'll be fun. And I'm looking forward to it because I've not watched it yet. I'm going to watch it tomorrow. So everybody have a safe Saturday.